Hello, YouTube. Welcome to RVDaydream, and we're going to try something different. It's a What You Doing live. I'm doing this, obviously, with the phone, and I don't know how good the connection is going to be. I'm going to kind of stay close. Let's hopefully not lose anything here. This is unprompted, and I don't expect to see very many people, but I wanted to cover a couple of things. Boy, this thing is shaky when I walk. The first thing is I dropped off the legs at the powder coater for the RV. And those are the legs for the steps. I've talked about that in the past on a past video. And basically all I was trying to do is make it to where if we get into the situation where the RV is really unlevel, that we have legs that will extend further than what the factory ones do. And I'll post some pictures eventually online, probably Facebook, of what those things look like before we got them powder coated. And I guess we're going to get them in about a week, so he says, which is really nice. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the weather here in Ohio is unbelievable. We're talking 54 degrees today. And guess what showed up today? 54 degrees. I was out in the porch here briefly. Let me turn you guys around. Can you believe a freaking fly? A fly. I had to take the fly swatter out of the winter storage. Oh my word. Out of all things. So Heidi's at work. She's doing her thing. And I wanted to talk about a few things. I was starting to shoot a video and I decided not to. Well, first of all, we're talking about maybe trying to get to where we can do some sort of a little winter camping trip here at some point. Wow, everybody's jumping on. Hey, guys. I didn't expect anybody to jump on, tell you the truth. Hey, Scotty. But kind of, we got a couple things going on out there. First, let me show you what the house used to look like. Oh, you're at work. And I'm not talking about the inside of the house. I think I got the picture up here on the computer. Let me flip you around again. And boom. Let me try to move it over here so it's on maybe a better screen. So this is what the house used to look like back when Heidi's grandparents lived in it. And this is actually, I don't even know what year this is. This is probably 50 something. It's in the 50s. I know that because the house had already been moved back off of the road at this point, which is, that happened in 55. So this was from 1955 to probably, I would assume 1960 something, because there's some other changes that happened. You can see the over in the distance here, the outhouse. Is that funny? We still have the outhouse in the basement there. So anyways, this is what the house used to look like before they added the taller porch. And I mean, there's a basement down here, but I mean, things have changed. There's a lot of things that changed, but I want to talk about this sidewalk that used to be here. I used to have another, you know what? I do have a video. You guys want to see a video real quick? Let's see if we can sneak this in here. This is something that I was going to post. This is our backyard, and it was see Heidi there in the blue shirt. This is something that we shot with our camcorder. This used to be a stump of a tree. We used to have a tree back here. This is the grapevine. There used to be the burn barrel. I mean, a lot of this stuff, makes sense. You guys seeing it. So April 12th, 1998. There's our daughter, who's 25 now. And the other child there's our son. There's Heidi's brother, who made the legs for the machine. And there's our old shed. Yeah. It's just poor camera action, I'm telling you there. But this is what it looks like. There's the other outhouse. It's still back there. And this used to be the trash. I mean, I cleaned all this up after we moved in it. And you got to figure that we bought this house basically 2 or 3 years after this video was shot. Her grandfather had already passed, and then her grandmother had a stroke shortly after this. And then she went into a nursing home. And this used to be the house that was next door. That used to be our tree. I cut that down. This used to be our tree. I cut that down. They were rotted. One fell down. Of course, all kinds of stuff. Mid of day. I know, guys. Hello, Canada. Hello, Colorado. So there's our son, who's now currently in Florida. Like I said, he's like 24 now, so you can get an idea of how old this video is. What I wanted to show you, though, is not so much the house and what it used to look like, but let me see if I can fast forward this. The sidewalk that's out front. There used to be a big, beautiful tree there, too. There's the garage. There's Heidi dorking around. Heidi's sister.
Where you going, monkey?
There's our old station wagon. I love that station wagon. But there's a sidewalk out here I was trying to show you. We're going to have to get a little bit closer. We're getting there. You can see I enclosed the front porch. It used to not be enclosed. We got rid of those bushes. I know this might be pretty boring for a live, but I'm trying to show you guys the sidewalk. There we go. Finally. See that sidewalk? All right. So that gets to what I wanted to talk about. Let's get outside here. Heidi and I was talking about so we can go camping in the winter, meaning in a couple days maybe. That'd be nice. But the ground is so soft out here. It's really, really soft. And that sidewalk that used to be, that I just showed you, it used to be out here. I took all of that up, all the concrete up. It used to go to the front door. It used to go out this way. And of course, I built this walkway and these steps in place. And we brought them back here and we made this patio thing. Now, I didn't do the best job with that at all. I could have done better, but nonetheless, it got done. And this is that old sidewalk. And the only reason I kept it is because her grandfather put those sidewalks in when Sebring was replacing all their sidewalks because they were old. He reclaimed all that stuff and brought it out and made the sidewalk we just showed you out front. So I wanted to keep it on the property. So with that said, this ground is really, really soft. You can see here, this is it doesn't take much for me to put a heel mark there. And when I pull the RV in, I kind of got to swing it around. And I pull way up, but I could probably not pull way up if I just manipulated a little bit more. However, the ideas come to mind that we want to put gravel out to, this point here to make it a little bit easier if I wanted to go out camping, because I can't really put the front tires too far in the ground. As you guys saw, they've been with us for a while, when we came back from Virginia Beach, how bad that was when it's this kind of muddy. So we're talking about that, but then Heidi said, well, why don't we just put gravel all the way to the back of the shed, and then we can start back in the RV in here. Well, quite honestly, I don't want to. I don't want to spend all that time and money on something that, hopefully we'll be moving out of here. I have a question though. It's 54 degrees. It's beautiful outside today, but I have a question for you guys about your RVs. This thing is really lubricated and it's very pliable and it's very clean. And when I put the slide out, sometimes it just don't fold out. I got to manually, run a stick or something up in here to flip it all the way out, all the way up the thing. Do you guys run into that? I guess if it was dirty and there's more resistance when the slide was coming out, it would flip that easier, but I didn't know if that's something you guys had a problem with or not. So a lot of people's asked about the cap. What's going on with the cap? Well, we didn't expect to hear anything yet. First of all, let me talk about the tonneau cover. I love the tonneau cover, and the tonneau cover has been doing a really good job, and it's done everything that I wanted it to. However, the Heidi Meister wants the cap back on there. She likes the way the cap looks much more, and I kind of agree with her. I just like how light it is and everything. I don't like that nothing back there is secured, but all right, so what's going on with the cap? Let's get you turned around here. Okay, so here's the deal with the cap. Whenever we dropped the cap off, we knew that the truck was on its route and it would pick it up the next day and then get it back to Indiana. How fast it got back to Indiana, we don't know. We don't know if it got back in a day or a week, because the truck, it's on a route, so it's got to, it's got to travel its route, and the cap was just being picked up in the middle of its route. So let's just say it was 5 days. I'm assuming. Once it gets back there, I'm sure it's going to take them a day or 2 days to get it unloaded and figured out, sent to where it needs to be sent. But the guy told us at Lear that when they got the cap back and they started doing whatever it was that they were going to do, either getting me a new one or fixing that one, whatever, I'm assuming they're going to probably fix that one. My thoughts on that is, it's already painted the right color. That's an amount of money, an outlay of money that they would have to do if they gave me a new one. It has that Lear locker installed. That's something that they would have to do if they gave me a new one. And it also has lights installed. And that's something that they would have to do if, they gave me a new one. They'd have to transfer everything over. So I could see where they maybe just decide, let's try to fix the old one. But he told us that process, whatever it is, either fixing it or replacing it altogether, would be 3 to 4 weeks. He was very forthcoming about that. He says, I'm not going to lie, the wind's kicking up. And I'm on my phone. Sorry about the noise, guys. He told me it's going to be 3 to 4 weeks once we get it back here. And he says, and it might be a little bit longer than that because this was over the holidays. So, yeah, we'll sell the cap when we get our fifth wheel. If we ever do that. That's way on down the road. Heidi and I keep on migrating back to this. You got me sidetracked, damn it. We keep on migrating back to our setup now. And we always say, well, we're happy. Why would we do anything different? So I think that 5 weeks could be how long it sits in Indiana before it gets fixed. And then again, when it comes back, we're probably talking another week. So I'm thinking 8 weeks, 2 months total, and it hasn't been that long. So once that time frame is up, I'll start making calls and say, like to know where my cap is. I might talk about other things too, other options. So yeah, as far as the fifth wheel conversation, Heidi and I have that all the time. She would like a fifth wheel, but the thing is, we're really happy with the RV and the truck. Even though that new 7.3 came out, and I'm very impressed with it on so many levels. I told Heidi, I said, I haven't really, we don't have a reason. I don't want to fall into that category, and we usually don't, of, well, I've got a truck that'll do the job fine, and we got an RV that'll do the job fine. But we want to go ahead and get something different. We're kind of past that. I mean, it's just a thing when you get older. I mean, we're younger. We always, whatever we wanted, we went and bought, regardless of the circumstance or consequence, or if we had the money, we'd have to make it work, kind of thing. But yeah, that's, hey guys, glad you joined in. That's one of the things that we try not to do is, like I said, fall into the category of, we want a new truck. I want a new truck. I want a new RV. I don't know if we just sit back and, no toy hauler. Although we've looked at them, we keep on falling back and saying, well, why would we want to get rid of our RV? We know we're happy with it. And the truck, we're happy with it. It's got some recalls I got to go get done on it, but it's not. Yeah, the weather's great here. 54 degrees, very slight breeze, sunny today. And then within just a couple days, we're going to have like 3 days chance of snow. Go Ohio. So anyways, Heidi wants the cap back. She wants to put the cap back on. She's the boss. I don't have enough feeling one way or the other to trump what her feeling is, and she feels strongly about getting a cap back on here. And I'm like, oh, I don't know, we could do, just a hard cover and, lockable and all that stuff. But so we dropped the legs off at the powder coaters. We're getting that taken care of. We also did the um, we're going to do the gravel most likely, so we can get this thing in and out of here. And yeah, the truck cap, that's on its own merit there. Hello from Florida, the 7.3 in the Class C. Well, that's the whole idea behind the 7.3. I guess we'll get into that conversation a little bit since it was mentioned there. If you guys have been with us for quite a while, I used to have the old 97 F250. It had a 460 in it. That 460 engine was a staple in Ford's truck lineup for quite a few different trucks, not just the consumer trucks. If you bought a motorhome, you needed, it was a heavy motorhome, it had a 460 in it. There's a lot of others that had 351s in them too, but the 460 was the most popular engine in those motorhomes for quite a few years. I mean, going up quite a few years, up until the mid 90s, easily until the late 90s on some things. And they put them in a lot of vans that were used commercially, and of course commercial trucks. My father-in-law had a dump truck. It had a 460 in it. Another friend of mine had a dump truck and it had a 429, and it's essentially the same thing, a 460, but it was a much older. So the 460 was the commercial grade heavy duty engine that Ford had offered for all those trucks. Now comes in the V10, and the V10 replaced the 460. So when you got a truck and you wanted the biggest gas engine that they had, in a dually or whatever, it was a V10. If you went and bought your motorhome, it was a V10. Whether it Class A or Class C, it was a V10. Well, that was a commercial grade style engine that was made to be durable and just run a lot of miles. I mean, it was a good engine. It was a really good engine. However, it's time for new progress. Now, even though this 6.2 is a great engine in this truck, it is not a commercial grade, put in a motorhome type engine. It's just not. It's maybe a Class C. I can see it in a Class C, but in a Class A, no way. And of course, a Class B, of course. But yeah, in a Class C, it would have to be a very light Class C for them to put this 6.2 in. So that's why Ford, wanting to get away from the V10, went ahead and put together the 7.3, because it's a good commercial grade durable engine that's going to be starting to be put in all the motorhomes and all the truck platforms that people want gas engines. I mean, there's a demand for the gas engine, especially since diesels have been taking such a hit on the emissions, and it's made them really expensive and unfortunately kind of costly, to buy and to maintain. They just got more components, and that's not what the diesel engine was about when it was really a good form of engine power plant that could be used for transportation. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying that if you compared a gas 460 engine to a 7.3 power stroke from the mid 90s, anybody that was going to be towing all the time would have been just idiotic not to have the 7.3 power stroke. But now, hey Pat, now moving forward, there's just so much crap going on with the diesels. That's it. It's unfortunate. So yeah, I was just out enjoying the weather. I started to shoot a video, like I said, about taking those extensions for the steps for the RV to the powder coater, and I thought, why can't I do a live and talk to you guys that way? So yeah, that's what we're doing, or that's what I'm doing. Heidi's at work, and that was the update on the cap also. So as far as the driveway, maybe a little bit more gravel out into the grass a little bit further, so we can let me turn you guys to show you what I'm talking about, so we can actually take and pull the RV out, and I can have a little bit more room to negotiate it back into its spot. without running it over. Plus, our son, let's give you an update on that. Our son was staying again with my cousin for, I don't know, a few days. He's still in Tampa, and he landed a job with the state fairgrounds, the Ohio State Fair. What a habit. The Florida State Fair is going on for, from the 5th to the 17th of February. And I'm sorry, the 6th. I think it's the 6th. No, the 5th. I think I was right the first time. The 5th through the 17th in Florida there. And of course, they need helpers. So my son signed up with an amusement company, and the amusement company said that, they wanted him to live on site or in these cabins or something, or these, my brother works the pipeline, so I call them man camps. A bunch of bunks. You just bring one suitcase with you. It's 25% travel the job requires, and they won't let him live in his van. They said it's too much of a liability, and he said that he turned it down. He said he just didn't want to do it, even though they were going to pay him like $12 an hour, and it's temporary, and to give him some more money in his pocket. He said, "Nah, I guess I just don't want to do that. I feel strange about it." And they said, "Well, listen, since you're in Tampa anyways, why don't you try it for the week and a half or 2 weeks, and then decide from there." So they're going to let him, of course, stay in his van and just commute back and forth to work, and do that for 2 weeks, and then decide what he wants to do. I told him, I said, "Listen, your mind may change about the situation, and you may find that maybe that's not so bad." I said, "Or their mind may change in that situation and think, see that you're a good worker, and maybe they'll make an accommodation. And once they see your van and see you're not just some guy living in a car, you're actually living in a van that's equipped, maybe they'll allow it." So that's what he's doing. He went ahead and accepted the job. He starts tomorrow, I believe it is. I'm pretty sure it's tomorrow. And in the meantime, he didn't want to drive back and forth from my cousin's house to the fairgrounds, because he said it was like a 40-minute drive or something like that, a 35-minute drive. He just didn't want to do it. So he had signed up, as we had mentioned in one of our posts, for Boondockers Welcome. And a gentleman down there is letting him stay in his driveway for 5 days. It says a maximum of 5 days. If that guy wants to offer longer, that's up to him. But so he's going to go down there, and he's going to be relatively close. He's going to be within, I think, 6 miles of the fairgrounds. And the guy knows that he's going to be working the fair and driving in and out. And he said it's not a problem. So it's kind of cool. And the cost is zero. The guy's got 30 amp hookup, and yeah, I think that's kind of cool. Come on, you love the sound of the diesel. I don't know. I don't know about the diesel sound. It all depends how they do it, tell you the truth. Some of them sound pretty good. But then again, other ones don't. And there's so much emissions crap on them. I mean, you gotta rip off all the emission stuff for it to really sound, like a real powerful engine. And unfortunately, that's against the law right now. And it voids the warranty too. So that's the update on him. I don't know if there's anything else I needed to update you on. I think that was it. This makes it a lot easier because I don't have to put out a video now covering that. Again, for everybody that just jumped on, I dropped off the legs for the RV at the powder coater. Howdy. And the cap is still going to be a couple weeks before I'm going to start calling and asking where it's at and why it's not done. So no problem there. And we're talking about maybe getting gravel to go out further into the yard because it's not very expensive for us to do. And that would allow us to take the RV in and out a little bit easier during this inclement weather, even though the weather looks great here, which it is today. The ground is really soft over there. It just hasn't had a chance to dry out and harden up. 14 liter asked a question about the soft starts on your 2 AC unit. Did they work for you, and are they worth the cost? Yeah, they work for me fine, but I don't know if I would do them both again. I have to experiment, Pat. if you guys didn't see that question, Pat had asked, I put soft starts on both rooftop air conditioners. I have a 15,000 BTU air conditioner and I have a 13.5 BTU air conditioner. And I wanted to run my air conditioner on a Honda 2000, or now in this case 2200 portable generator, and it works. It does run the air conditioner. The thing was, is there was that much thought, and there still is. If I get a campground that has good 30 amp service, really good 30 amp service, I should be able to run, hooked up to a campground, both rooftop air conditioners on 30 amp. Now, is there a reason for that necessarily? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure if you're in the desert, it's going to, that's going to be a thing. What I would suggest to people is to think about how they run their air conditioner if they don't know, and how many times they run both rooftop air conditioners, and how often they actually need that full 50 amps in their RV. One of the things I can't stand is when people have a 50 amp hookup on their RV and they're looking at 1,000 trail memberships and they're complaining about some of the campgrounds because they only have, I can't believe they only have 30 amp service here. What are you running inside your, you got to just pay attention and know to turn off your electric hot water tank and turn off maybe your air before you run your microwave. Or sometimes you can run your air and your microwave at the same time, as long as it's not cycling on and off. This is with just standard, the way the RVs come, not with an easy start. If you just try some good power management, paying attention, you don't need 50 amps. You don't need a 50 amp service. If you're running both rooftop air conditioners, you need 50 amp service to play it safe. But some of these campgrounds, if you've got good 30 amp service, you might be able to get away with running both rooftop airs on 30 amp, but you can't run anything else. You can't run your hot water tank on the heating element. You can't run your refrigerator. The compressor on that might even be enough of a draw to cause a problem. But anyways, getting back to what Pat had asked, I installed those Microsoft Easy Starts on both rooftop air conditioners, and he was asking, is it worth it? All that. I think if I had to do it over again, I might have only bought one, which would have been cheaper, obviously, and installed one. And I, believe it or not, I probably would have installed it on, I think, the 13,500 BTU air conditioner. Well, I don't know, because 15,000 BTU would potentially cool the RV better if I could only run one. That's a tough call. I think that what I would do is I'd probably put it on the 15,000 BTU air conditioner, and just on that one to start with, just to see how much I would use it, because I know that the Honda 2200 runs the one rooftop air, either one of them, perfectly fine. Now, the good news is, since they're on both of them, and this would be a pro to putting them on both, if you do have them on both of them, and you have a problem with one of your air conditioners, you can still run the other one on that little portable Honda. The other thing is again, carrying another generator, paralleling the two. When I first did a video years ago about which generator to go with, hey Mike, do you put anything in your tires when you store for winter? Nope, I got nitrogen filled tires. I don't know. You say in or on? Oh yeah, I put a cover on my tires, but yeah, and they're sitting on a piece of wood. I should have put wood on the other side, but I'm getting rid of these tires anyways. I'll be getting Goodyear Assurance eventually, so I'm not too worried about it. The one is sitting on a railroad tie, so yes, partially. I should have put wood under the other side, but I don't know. It's a good idea, but I don't plan on keeping the tires, so I wasn't worried about it. So anyways, getting back to the rooftop air thing and the generators that run it, I did a video years back that I had full intentions of just running the Champion, one single 30 amp generator, and of course it's bigger, but the nice thing is I could run everything I wanted with my single rooftop air because I had 30 amp service. It would take care of everything for me. Fast forward, and now I'm into a 50 amp rig, and now it gets to the point where I might actually need to run both rooftop airs if we get in a hot situation and it's boondocking. Yeah, I now have changed my mind and want to run the smaller, generators, because I can go a longer distance on, less gas, longer amount of time. Yeah, I don't necessarily know. Let me see if I can click you guys on top chat, all chat. Let me make sure all the messages are visible. There we go. We have the 30 amp at home, ran the 13-foot packing trip, used the living room. Otherwise, the campground worked great. Live in Arizona, 110 during the summer. Yeah. Excuse me. It's kind of hard to. I'm glad that I have them in both. It gives me more options, and I mean, a lot of things. There's a level of comfort whenever you have more options available to you. But I think that, again, if you have two Honda generators, now you could parallel them together and you don't even need to do that, those soft starts. Although it saves money and gas and all that stuff, you wouldn't have to if you didn't want to. I just didn't like the fact, again, my initial video years ago, I didn't like the fact of having two generators that took up more space than one Champion, and two generators that now I need to make sure I do oil changes and fuel issues on both of them. I mean, there were so many different reasons for that, but I don't necessarily think that I would put them on both rooftop airs if I did it again, until I tested it more, until I actually went out and tested it more. Yeah, I'm very happy with our setup. As somebody mentioned about a fifth wheel, somebody mentioned about the fifth wheel, kidding around, saying if you get your cap back for your truck, you're not going to be able to haul your fifth wheel. The thing is I don't. Heidi's texting me if you guys want to know what that beeping is. I don't want to jump out of this situation because we haven't even gave it a chance. Everything about the truck tells us there is nothing wrong with the vehicle that we have. I mean, it shouldn't be. It's new and it's exactly the one we wanted. Just because something that's a little shinier just came out doesn't mean I'm jumping into that pool, And then, of course, the Rockwoods or Castle Rocks. I haven't had. Okay, let me finish my thought on the, and then I'll get to the tires. The same with the RV. We got the RV that we wanted after all that shopping. And even though we go to the RV shows and we see some fifth wheels we like and some other maybe a little bit bigger, longer RVs that we like and smaller ones that we like, that's no reason for us to leave out of one that we does everything we want to. So let's get to the tires first. The tires, because I seen a question about generators there. The tires that came on the Rockwood, of course, is Castle Rocks, and there's people that have problems with them. There's other people. I'm telling you, for as many of those Castle Rocks that are out there, there would be a lot more horror stories if they were, major issues. Don't get me wrong. You see every once in a while that my tire exploded and it blew off this and broke that, and it only had so many miles and whatever. I understand that happens. That just happens. I mean, that's like anything else. But you don't see a rash. You don't see 7,500 miles on your Castle Rocks, right? And that's it. There's a lot of people that, and I haven't seen any problem. They're not weird, noisy. They don't track weird. They don't look like they're rolling under or anything when I'm backing in at sharp turns. I mean, everything seems fine on them. The wear is even. I don't have a lot of miles on it, but I just don't see anything. However, I would like to go up to the next rated tire and get into the Goodyear Assurance, because we know there's nothing ever wrong with those for the most part. It's just there's a cost outlay. We'll still run these Castle Rocks. I'm going to probably run the Castle Rocks until I start seeing some kind of wear, and then I'll go ahead and flip over. You can always, at that point you can always buy a new set of tires. So there's no rush in it. Okay, so as far as the generator, the best generator that I ever owned, by far, there's no doubt in my mind, is the Honda 2200. It's an incredible, it's just, you could just tell the quality. I mean, the way it's, being a mechanic, and I used to tune by ears for years because I didn't have the equipment. And, back when I started working on stuff, it was all carburetors. And of course, all the lawnmowers and small engine stuff that I worked on, that's all by ear. Same with mopeds. It's all by ear. I mean, you had to, if I had to, and I did, modify a moped to go 50 miles an hour down the road, you had to tune it all by ear as far as, is it running lean or fat? You could check plugs, all that stuff, but it was pretty much visually and by hearing. And that Honda just sounds incredible. It sounds really good. Now, with that said, both of those Atima generators that I owned, that little Atima and that big 3,000 watt Atima, both of those had Yamaha engines in them, and they sounded incredible. As far as running wise, they were incredible, and they had a lot of nice features on both of them. I mean, the Atima, the small Atima, had a gas gauge, I'm pretty sure. I think. I've done so many reviews on generators, I can't remember clearly if I'm thinking of that one or that Paxis. And then the big Atima did have, of course, a fuel gauge and a load gauge and a bunch of other stuff, and an hour gauge. It was all built in. That was a very good generator, both of those. If you guys decide you want to buy a generator on any level, if you want to help out my channel on some level, just make sure you go back, look at my generator playlist, and just click links that are in the description to get you to whatever generator you may be looking at. Now, sales pitch. So with that said, as far as the Champion generator, bang for the buck. That, everything about it. It already comes with an RV plug. It comes with an electric start. You can get ones that have propane or gas already built in. If you don't want the propane gas, you're just running on gas, you can get the remote start one, and it's of course built in. And the price for all those features, it's really good. Their customer service is through the roof. I had exceptional customer service, experience with them. I can't say nothing bad. They're really, really great to deal with. And it was a great generator. Is it louder than the Honda 3000? Yep. Everything's louder than the Honda 3000. But the Honda 3000 is almost about $900 more. Is it as easy to move around as the Honda 3000? It's actually easier because it's got a handle and wheels. Is it used a lot of gas? No, not really. It's pretty comparable. I mean, I've done reviews. I've done the review on the Champion, and I talked about it. And bang for the buck, if you want a 30 amp generator, one engine to deal with, one oil change to deal with, buy that one. The Harbor Freight generator, I don't have any experience with it. These Chinese generators, there's a lot of them out there, and I have a Sportsman 1000 that we're going to use just to charge batteries. It puts out about 8 amps. I think its max, or running amps, I think is about 7 or 8 amps. I can't remember what my review said. You can, again, go look at the review on that. That thing sounds really nice. You fire it up and it purrs, and it's quiet, and it's very good. It's just a nice little generator, and it's really cheap. I mean, I hardly paid anything for it. But I haven't had any experience with the Harbor Freight, but I wouldn't expect any different than what I just said about the Champion or that Sportsman or even that Paxis generator I have, which I don't even think they make that anymore. Those three, all Chinese generators, all put together, China for, the most part. And they were acceptable. I didn't see anything that scared me away from them. Of course, the Atima generators, they were designed in Japan, and they have Yamaha engines in them. As long as you get an Atima AY series, which I think that means Atima Yamaha, The SD series has, lesser engines in them. They're still good inverter generators, but the AY series, those, I would have to put that Yamaha engine in that Atima 3000 watt above the Champion, just in quality and the way it runs and sounds, and features too. Even though it lacks some features, overall, I really like that generator. Of course, top of the heap all the way across the board is the Honda still. I'm assuming the Yamahas too, but I did a comparison on the Yamahas compared to the Hondas, and both companies advertise honestly what the decibel ratings are, and the Yamahas are louder. And when it comes right down to it, they're not cheap enough to be louder. It would be different if they were $400 less than the Honda and they were louder, but they're like $100 less, or maybe 200 at the most less than the Honda, and they're louder. No sense in it. I'll just pay the extra $200 or $100, and I'll get the quietest one on the market. Yeah, I'm really happy with the Honda. Now, the biggest thing that I think is the problem with the Honda is, of course, that big red generator. Even if you can get camouflage, even if I spray painted it black, I don't know. I'm scared to death that thing's going to walk. Even the dumbest people in the world know they need money. All they need to do is get hold of one of those Honda generators, any of them, any size, and they could sell it on Craigslist in just a few days. If I put my Honda generator on Craigslist for $700 tomorrow, it would sell within a week, and it's hardly been used. Sure, no problem, John. So the chance of it walking is pretty good. But that goes for everything. You just got to be extra cautious. I was talking to a guy, or I'm getting ready to talk to a trailer manufacturer that's in the area here. Believe it or not, he makes car haulers, and I'm going to see if he razor blades. That's a good one. Put them underneath the handles. Somebody be cutting their fingers off. I'm going to see if there's some way that they can cut off the bumper and maybe weld a platform back there and then put the bumper back on a little bit further, or maybe on top of it. I don't know how they're going to want to do it. I'll give them the option. But I was talking about doing that for a generator platform back there, because I still have that generator box in the garage. And in my case, I'm probably going to louver mine, because I'd like to run the generator inside the box. I think that it would be the best way to go. Yeah, that's a lot of it's a lot of big decisions when it comes to anything to have to do with your decision making on these purchases. And the one thing that is going to be a common denominator from anybody telling you what I think about something, there's nobody going to dispute that the best piece of advice that you can get about that is, you need to find something you feel comfortable with, and I'm talking about all the way across the board. You feel comfortable paying, like in our case for our truck, you feel comfortable paying $39,000 for a truck. Howdy, Poland. You feel comfortable buying an RV that has a super slide, or is fiberglass instead of metal. You feel comfortable towing something that fully loaded weighs 8,800 pounds. You feel comfortable spending $1,000 on a 2,000 watt generator, 2,200 watt generator, or you feel comfortable, camping the way that you do, or boondocking the way you do, or everything. It comes down to what you feel comfortable with. So all you can do is just load yourself up with information. Take my advice and anybody else's with a grain of salt, because what works for us has no bearing on what will work for you necessarily. And just make a good informed decision, and figure that you might find out you made a mistake and you want to do something different. It's like everything else. The one thing that I like to do, I don't know if you guys do this, but I love, whenever I'm looking at a product that I'm not real sure about, if it looks like something that I'm interested in, I'll do a little bit of research on it, And then if it still looks like something I'm interested in, at that point, I go to the reviews of the product. And anybody that has a lot of reviews, you usually can get good information on. And in my case, I like to go to the negative reviews. I go lowest review first, and I read whatever they complain about, and then I see if that would pertain to me. For example, if I am looking at, let's say, the tonneau cover on this truck, like we currently have, and the guy says, I love the tonneau cover, but I live in Arizona, and this thing is just destroyed. It's all cracked and falling apart within 4 years' time. It's still usable, but after 4 years, it's terrible. Well, I know that review doesn't pertain to me on a bunch of different levels. First of all, I was buying this tonneau cover just temporarily to get me by. And number two, I'm not in Arizona, so neither one of those situations applied, so I can skip that negative review and go to the next one. So hey, Merle, what's happening? Love to see it. Merle's one of our patron guys, so Merle's the man. I'm glad to see him on here. So anyways, the tonneau cover situation, like I said, was easy, but there's other things that, you got to go through a lot of negative reviews to figure out, again, what applies to you. And some of them you'll find that the negative review is wrong. It's just wrong. The guy got the wrong one sent to him. I don't know how you're supposed to review the product that you wanted to buy. That's like me going to and ordering a truck. What would you say if you saw a 40-foot travel trailer that it belongs in a park? That's what I'd say. But what if I went and I went to Carvana and I said, hey, listen, I want to buy a brand new Ford truck or a brand new used truck or whatever. And Carvana says, okay, your truck's ready to go. And I go in there and they gave me a Chevy truck. Well, I'm not going to go to Ford's website and put a review out on the Ford truck saying, man, I can't even believe they can't even get me the right truck. I got a Chevy truck. It just, that's what a lot of those reviews are. And they're negative reviews, and they shouldn't be applied to the account. So that's really nice. That has open space with nothing in it but a Toyota Corolla can pull it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, half-ton towable. I still love that half-ton towable stuff. And you guys don't take offense. There is, I know you can get away with stuff. It's just like, thank you. People do that all the time, not relevant to the actual product. Yes, you're right. Hello, sir. Who's that? Oh my God, Herbie. We have another one of our patrons on here, Herbie. So Merle and Herbie, both on board. Now, if you guys don't know, Red Jaguar, he's going to be down there at our get-together. Again, July 10th through the 17th, Pirate Land, South Carolina. We're going to have a little meet and greet get-together. And I think on the 12th, I think we might actually have the official meet and greet type thing. Not sure exactly. While you're working, you're not the only one, Herbie. There's at least one other that said, this is nice, I'm at work. Yeah, the Puxatawny Phil already said that we're going to have an early spring. But then again, we kid around, but Ohio weather it's goofy. I mean, who knows what we're going to get here? I mean, I'm sitting out here 54 degrees, and I mean, it could be just 2 weeks from now, I could be out here with 6 inches of snow and, minus 20 degrees. Easily. Trust me, guys, that crap happens all the time. And if you don't think that, go back a couple years to my video on May 15th, where I was sitting over there. Well, I was standing over in the yard, and it was snowing. And it was just pelting my jacket. It was actually getting on this jacket. I was wearing this jacket. I was just kind of, don't talk it up. Yeah, I don't want to get it all stirred up in Ohio. Say, oh, hey, he's expecting that shitty weather. Let's give it to him. But yeah, the thing is, whenever you're making purchases, like I say, just try to make a good informed, and you can see what we use and what we do. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Most of the time, we dial into something that we think is and then things change too. That's the other thing. Don't put too much stock and time into analyzing what you You are the best, Mike. You're the best. Don't put any stock or time and effort into making a decision, because even though that decision is going to work for you at right now, depending on what kind of commitment you make whenever you make that decision, like for example, if we buy this truck, our commitment is roughly, well, in our case, we'll be paying it off early. Same with the RV, we'll be paying it off early. But if you're going to be keeping it, you've got a 5-year or 6-year loan on it that you gotta be concerned with, that you're going to be paying all that time. So think about what your life is going to look at in that amount of time, and if that there's no, if it's still going to work for you. Yeah, Maryland, I agree. Everything on this whole area, it's just weird. I think it's because we have it coming from so many different directions. So yeah, as far as the generators are concerned, I know this went really long on that generator topic, but as far as these generators are concerned, don't just if you have the money for one and you think you want to try it, that's probably the best way to do it. Just kind of jump into it. The amount of anguish and I use the term all the time, analysis paralysis. You just sit there and you think about it, and you're thinking about it, and I think I want to do that, I think I want to do that, and then at some point you finally do, and then when you get it, if there's a problem, then you're like, man, all that effort and all this time, and now the product's not what I wanted. Instead, if you just bought it and tried it out, and if it didn't work, okay, so you paid for a lesson. Try to recoup your money as best as possible, and you paid for a lesson. That's what I was telling Heidi about this cap. I told her, I said, if we decide we don't want to, but she already determined, hey, I want that cap back on the truck. But if we decided, hey, we're going to get rid of the cap, I'm not going to put it back on here when it comes back in, I'm just going to have them sell it. She said, we'll never get our money out of it. I said, so it was a lesson. That lesson was worth so much money to me. Was it worth the kind of hit that I'll take on the cap? Probably not. But nonetheless, I won't be, worried about it and anguishing about it, for all the time we own the cap either. It'll be gone, out of sight, out of mind. I have some money in my pocket, and I know I'll never do that again. Now, that comes from a lot of experience of buying power equipment at auctions and not listening to them run or move, and just buying cars in general for myself over the years. We've had a lot of cars, and I've had some real winners there, trust me. But for the most part, you can make everything work the way that you make accommodations. If you're an accommodating type person, you're not set in your ways, you can probably get away with, getting something that might not be what you think is ideal. You might be pleasantly surprised. You might bitch about it, but still, it might be something that works for you. So yeah, again, just buy what you think's comfortable. And again, getting back to what we were talking about, toy hauler, big long RVs, all that stuff, and hauling. I don't want to offend. I hate it because I don't ever disclaim myself enough whenever I talk about half-ton trucks. Listen, I know these half-ton trucks are very, very, they're good. They're very good. And I know you can get away with quite a bit. I know you can get away with going over a little on stuff. You shouldn't, because if you get in an accident, all kinds of problems would happen, obviously. But if you're just towing like our camper, even if it was fully loaded at 8,800 pounds, if you're only going to go maybe a 200 mile, the furthest away from the house trip, so 400 miles round trip, and you're a weekend warrior and you only do that, 4 times in the summer, sure, why not? And as far as one that's really long, that one video, that guy was towing a 37-foot trailer that weighed 9,000 pounds with his half-ton pickup. That's a lot. That's a lot. And I don't care what numbers come up and how they come up. I wouldn't personally do it. But if you're only going just a short distance, sure. But yeah, I can't see doing a lot of travel that way. So local RV show, fifth wheels, 9,000 pounds, hitch for 2,000. Yeah. That same with when we were at the RV show. It was the same thing. Reviews can put you in analysis paralysis. I had that problem buying an RV cover. They're all junk and they're all awesome. LOL. Yeah, I agree. And the thing is with RV covers, even that one that we had on our old RV, if you guys didn't see that review, go back and check that out. It's under, of course, our playlist, the reviews. That RV cover was a very good cover. It was very good. However, whenever we sold the RV, I gave it to the guy that bought the RV, and it had a couple holes in a couple of places, and it wasn't like I didn't take care of it. I mean, I did what I could. It's just those things wear out. Hence one of the reasons I don't have the RV cover on the RV. Plus, our winter's been so mild, and we're more than halfway through winter right now, guys, at least meteorological winter. So if I made it this far, I think that we have a couple of good storms that might come before the end of winter. They could dump a decent amount of snow, but now they're saying early spring. That's a joke. I know that's a joke, that whole groundhog thing, but even some of the meteorologists are saying, there's no pattern that's really showing that it's going to lock in cold for a long period of time. So I don't know if we'll cover it. I really don't. And again, the whole reason we left it uncovered is in case we want to go take it on a trip. Well, maybe if I had some gravel out here, I would already have done that. It could have been done. So we're thinking about, just like I said, dumping some gravel over here and making it to where it's a little bit easier getting in and out of here. Of course, our son's van not being here makes it a lot easier. Yeah, I'm glad he landed that job down there in Tampa, and he'll do that for a couple of weeks, and then after that, I told him, go to the Strawberry Festival. So I just bought the most expensive one I could find. Merle, that's kind of what I did. That's exactly what I did. If you remember back then, I found it used. The guy put it on the RV for like a week or something. I don't even remember what the deal was. But yeah, so I bought it used, but it was an expensive I think it was like $480 or $500 for the cover. And man, that's good. It was nice, but 3 years. I mean, after about 3 years, probably just not going to land it. Don't make me come up to your house and rough you up. Oh no, I won't do that. I didn't cover my rig either. Yeah, I know. We really didn't need to. I think if I would have seen a forecast and they said, hey, we've just got 6 inches of snow the other day, and we're expecting that, for the, over the next couple of weeks. Yeah, definitely. Tamper down a few yards of RCA before the gravel goes in and move back. Well, the whole thing is the stuff that they put in here is big slag, and it locks in. That guy said that he could come out here and and he wasn't the braggart type. He had told me, he says, I have made driveways where there was just a lot of mud. He says, I've put in 6 and 7 inches of slag of the big stuff that he has. And he goes, it don't move. He says, once it settles, he goes, that's it. It locks in and it doesn't move. He says, it really will support some loads. So we trusted him, and that's what he did over here. Yeah, the 3/4 stone locked together also. Yeah, they're big. It's real big slag. And then we've got number 57 slag that they screen over top of the big stuff over there, and then of course in the driveway here. So I'll have him come out and do a half a load or whatever of the big stuff, and then the 57 will have about the same amount to cover it up. I'll ask him what he suggests. He's really good. I mean, he just come out and he looked at it. He didn't really measure anything out. He just figured out what we needed, and he was dead on. Actually, he was a little over both times he came out, and I mean just a little over, just for a little bit extra. So yeah, that'll allow me to get the trailer in and out, and maybe we can go camping. Now, of course, I have a recall on the camper. All the Rockwoods and a lot of the other ones that use this, I can't remember what the name of the company is. I think it starts with an A, that makes the roof covering that they have on the slides. They said that where the rubber seal hits the slide top in extreme hot or cold, apparently it's moving or peeling or making it unadhere from the slide. I don't know how or anything else, but I talked with Rick at Ruff's RV up where we bought the RV here, and I can't remember what it was. Paynesville, Ohio. I can't remember where they're at now. I always forget. But anyways, Ruff's RV. I talked with him, and he said, yeah. He says I looked at the recall briefly. He says it says something about basically just peeling back, the weather stripping, and then putting some kind of adhere bonding stuff or something on the slide to help with that transition. So we've got to do that. We asked him, when do you want us to take out? He goes, listen, he goes, there's no sense in doing it now, crappy weather and everything. He says, just wait until the end of March, beginning of April. He says, at that point, we'll get you in right away. He says, we'll get that taken care of. He says, it didn't look like, but it's supposed to be like a half an hour or an hour job. He said, so, give us a couple hours just to make sure. He says, I'm sure we could get it all taken care of. So yeah, that needs to be done. So of course, we're in February now, even though it's the beginning of February. Just think about that. We're just a month away from March, and after that's April. And a bunch of these campgrounds start opening, of course, in April. And the further south you get, of course, they start opening up a little bit sooner. I'm sure the Carolinas, they probably start opening up maybe, well, most of them stay open all the time, I think. Just seems odd to me. We don't get to do that here. But the other thing is, which if you guys didn't see our live chat the other day, which some of you guys did, just to kind of update you on that, we did sign up with Passport America. FMCA had a sale for us. If you want to do Passport America, definitely mention RVDaydream. I think we get some sort of kickback from that. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. Just RVDaydream. I don't know how to. I'm sure there's a link or something that you're supposed to use. Oh, actually, I think it's maybe an account number. So if you think you're going to sign up with Passport America to try it out, just let us know, and we'll find out what it is that you need to reference. And also, Boondockers Welcome. That has a specific link that we included on our Facebook page. And that Boondockers Welcome, that's interesting. It's really cool. And we signed up as host. So you guys that have motorhomes that are under 30 foot, because I don't think you could jockey in something bigger. You can't back in off the road here. It's just, there's too much traffic. It's just a nightmare. So anyways, Boondockers Welcome. We signed up with them. If you guys have an under 30 foot motorhome, I don't think a travel trailer, you could do it. Like I said, you heard what I got to do to get this one in here. Or you have a camper van, something like that. Well, I can throw you a household cord from the garage here, and you can park in the driveway. Did Forest River contact you, the recall? Yes. Yeah. Forest River sent me a letter. Sometimes they're late, though. I found that Forest River don't necessarily do a good job with, for example, when I bought the Rockwood, Forest River has free roadside assistance for a year. Free roadside assistance for a year. I didn't get that letter until like 5 months after buying the RV. And it showed the expiration date of the roadside assistance. And of course, it only had like 6 months left or 7 months left. It's like, that's dumb. That's the dumbest thing ever. Okay, I got to look to see if these... Good morning, Michael. I'll park and take up your whole driveway. Yeah. Well, you have a motorhome. You'd have to turn it sideways there. What kind of preparations you make into the tow vehicle for the new year? Especially an older one, fluids, belts, and tires. Of course, the oil change. You got to do the oil change. Every year, whenever I would start for the towing season for the truck, definitely the tires. I just look at tire pressures and just look at the tires. A lot of people don't put their hands on their tires and actually look at the tires inside and out to see if there's any wear or cracks or anything like that. Same with the RV tires. I don't know how many people I've seen that have, the inside of their tires wore down to nothing, and they're looking at it and go, oh no, the tread looks real good. Well, you didn't look inside, it's all bare. Sometimes radiator flushes, it's kind of just like a maintenance. See, I'm a firm believer, if you are up on your, if you pay attention to your vehicle, if you just look at your vehicle, if you're fiddling around with your vehicle, you should always be kind of looking at it. It's some, even if I'm going to change my tires or rotate my tires, at some point I'll be looking at the shocks and the leaf springs and the springs and the brakes and whatever as I'm doing it. It's amazing how much you'll pick up that you may need to do. I don't know if I don't know necessarily if you need to go through any scheduled type maintenance though. Fuel filter, if you haven't done that in a while, look at your air filter. But I'm a firm believer that I don't like to fix things until there's a problem, and I can tell there's a problem, because I don't know how many times I've seen problems that arise from doing preventative maintenance or going a step above what you should have to, you want to do. And it's like, shit, now I'm into a whole nother level of problems. For example, if I was underneath and I look at my shocks and I know my shocks are working just fine, but maybe they're getting a little rusty, and you start thinking to yourself, well, they're kind of rusty, maybe I should just go ahead and change them. Now you break a bolt off when you're taking them off because it's really rusty, and then you find that the mount is cracked because when you're putting the stress on the bolt trying to break it loose, now you got to take that mount and get it welded, or you got to weld it yourself if you don't have the ability to weld. You have to take it somewhere else, all because your shock appeared to be rusty even though it was working fine. So I'm not the typical mechanic in one sense, that is sitting there and tell you, hey, you should do this every so many thousand miles, and some stuff, yeah, other stuff, I know one thing for sure, my truck, will be getting the truck's loud, will be getting a transmission service done this year for sure. Even though it's only, you can go, I don't know, 40,000 miles before you're supposed to do your transmission service. It's getting done. It's definitely getting done. The Ford mechanics have said across the board that before it reaches 15,000 or around 15,000, it's a good idea to do a transmission service, regardless of what Ford's recommendation is. Of course, I'd like to have Ford do it, but I need to find a good Ford service garage, and the only one I know for sure that I feel comfortable about is Kent. So I got to drive all the way to Kent and drop the truck off. Plus, I got recalls to do over there. Plus, I actually have a weird problem that I may ask them to look at, which I'm not even going to mention it because it's just random. But I also have a noise that shows up when it's really cold out that's underneath the hood. And pretty sure it's the fan, the clutch on the fan, which I did a video on that a few years back. That thing howled. I hardly had any miles on it, and that thing was howling. Yeah, that's basically it in a nutshell. Engine brake. Not that there's a sign just 2 houses up that says no engine brake, but they like the engine brake. Have no idea why. They're not loaded. It's just like they want to do it. Even though, again, the township got together, voted on it, and decided to get signs put up that said no engine brakes for the residents that are in the area, so they don't have to hear that noise. That one wasn't bad. That one was really quiet. Yet they still use their engine brake. Oh no, you guys are truck drivers. You know the deal. You know what my favorite thing is the guys that don't realize that. I mean, sometimes I'm an idiot on some things, but some of these guys that are truck drivers that don't realize I know something about things in general, and they say, oh, we have to have those engine brakes. That helps us slow down. I'm like, whatever, dude. What if you get into a truck all these trucks that don't have engine brakes? How are they slowing down? I know what they do. I know how they assist in braking. I know how they assist in helping your brakes last a longer time. But it's crazy. I want an engine brake on my diesel. Aftermarket will be more expensive. Do you rotate the tires on your trailer? No, I don't. I don't. If I had one that for whatever reason, if you guys don't know this, the alignment of your tires is determined on how the axles are mounted on the trailer and how they are in relationship to each other also. So if you have one tire that like wears all the time, you either have an alignment issue or you have a weight issue. Some of these older trailers, and I'm assuming some of the new trailers too, they didn't balance them out very well when they built them over the axle. Most of them, of course, did a pretty good job, but I've seen some of them, like I've seen in forums, people say, "Man, this one front left tire that I have just wears out." To where I have to replace it like 3 times compared to the other 3 tires one time. So anyways, if I had one that would show maybe a little bit more wear on the inside or the outside versus all the others, I might want to rotate them then. But the thing is I think that they pretty much all wear together, and I think it's under the same category of front-wheel drive vehicles. Of course, a lot of you, it's probably watching me, you guys are all about my age or maybe even a little bit older. But for the younger people, front wheel drive cars, it wasn't that long ago. Front wheel drive cars was not a popular thing. I mean, it started in the 80s, really, and then it take off right away. And then, pretty much everything's front wheel drive. Well, back in the day, you rotated tires on your car, and, there was just different things that you did that on the front wheel drive car. Front wheel drive cars, the tires seemed to wear out faster. I mean, you got to think, not only were they steering the car, not only did they have the most weight on them from the car, but they also drove the car. So like front wheels on those early front wheel drive cars, those front tires would wear out right away and the back tires look like new. So then they were saying, well, you should rotate them, more often. Fast forward, years later, and I know for sure, without a doubt, that's not the answer. And I'm sure a lot of you guys know that's not the answer either. And what you should do is just replace the front tires as they wear out and just leave the rear tires. If they're not wearing out and they're doing a good job and they're showing good wear, just leave them and just keep on replacing the fronts as they wear. Once they get down so far, put new ones on. Of course, you're wearing them down pretty darn far before you get, replace them. But I kind of fall in that category with the trailer tires. Maybe if I'm not seeing any wear, if they're all wearing equally, then I would just replace them all at once and not rotate them. On my dual axle trailer, I always had to rotate the back tires way more than the front too. Yeah, some of them are just that way. I don't know why. Some of them are just that way. But yeah, I wouldn't rotate the tires. Now, I will have to say that it's kind of dumb, but I still do it. When you get your RV, and even if you go get new tires on your RV, so I'm trying to get the chat up here. Time to go to work. Alrighty, Lonnie, thanks for checking in. They're not going to be balanced. They don't balance the tires on the wheels. If you go to any RV shop and say, hey, I need new tires on there, most likely they're not going to be balanced. Utah, snowy Utah. We're in Northeast Ohio and we should have snow, but we don't. Herbie, don't beat me up for that. It's 54 today. That's why I'm outside. So the thing that I do is I get the wheels and tires balanced. If I've got, like, these aren't balanced because that's where they came from the factory, but the reason that they don't balance it, if you guys look at your brakes, and I did this on a video prior, if you look at the brakes on your RV, there's no weights on the drums. I mean, on your car, there's weights on the drums, because they're balanced. The drums are balanced after they mold them, form them, whatever you want to cast them. They balance them out. That's not the case with the trailer. The drums are not. So those drums are probably a little bit out. So a lot of the people say, or manufacturers even say, well, why balance the tires and wheels? Because if your drums that are spinning, that heavy rotating mass, even though it's more concentrical than the tire and the wheel, You know, if it's out around, why would you even bother with the tires and the wheels? Well, my belief is, well, just because one's not balanced don't mean you shouldn't balance the other. You know how to balance the other. It doesn't cost hardly anything to do it. Let's get that balanced. So if there's a problem with the drum being out of balance, you know, maybe we could work with that somehow. I don't know. That's just my own opinion on that. You can do whatever you want. But yeah, as far as rotating, no. I don't rotate. Jaguar's got a wrench up there. Because he is a good moderator for us. Yeah, this, like I said, this was really impromptu. It's just a beautiful day out. I wish Heidi was off work one day. You know, it's funny because I've been telling her for I don't know how many years, hey, I want you to quit your job. I want you to quit your job. One day, we still got some stuff we got to work out, but I hate it when she misses days like this. And then on her days off, you know, she goes, what's it going to be like on Sunday? Oh, it's going to be 15 degrees and rainy or snowy or icy or whatever. And this is horrible. Am I going to use the 110 refrigerator in my camper? Do you think it needs to be vented? Nope. It was almost 60 yesterday. Lucky to be 25. Yeah, it's the same here. We're 54 today. Yesterday was relatively okay, but the day before that it was kind of cold. And tomorrow I don't know what the weather's going to be. But yeah, as far as a household refrigerator, you can actually, as long the difference is with the household refrigerator is some of them require to have a gap on either side of the refrigerator also, or underneath the refrigerator. And of course, definitely on the back, there's got to be a gap for that heat to you know, be alleviated somewhere else. However, the other thing you can do for just a household refrigerator, which is really nice, is you can block off your outside vents on your RV. Let me show you. Let me turn you guys around and show you. It's not on this side. Yeah, this vent here, if I was to put an RV refrigerator or a household refrigerator in here, you can block this off. You can seal this off, you know, on the inside, obviously, you know, to make it, but you can insulate it on the inside as long as whatever insulation you put, damn, that truck's loud. As long as whatever insulation you put it in here doesn't fall down onto your refrigerator and cause a problem. Yeah, and that vent that's up above here, you know, that one right there, you guys can kind of see it. That one is pretty, I don't know, pretty well insulated on its own. I don't know how this is going to affect my stream, but we'll try up here. And again, if you guys didn't see this, join us at Pirate Land. We're going to be out at Pirate Land having a little get together. But yeah, the refrigerator, you can see how tight it is. Some of them need a gap on either side. That's the big difference between an RV refrigerator. God, it's kind of dark. I know the phone accommodated a little bit, but there we go. But you can see there's not much room there. I think for the most part, you should be able to get away with sliding a refrigerator in, even if it's real tight on the sides. As far as the bottom, though, I think you've got to leave that little bit of a gap. And then on the back side, of course, you got to have some room there. Do you think you would ever go to a fifth wheel if you decide to buy another trailer? We would look into it. I would definitely look into it. Here's the factory leg that they give you. Oh, Heidi's calling. Should we see what she says? All right. Did you guys see that? I got a call. It was Heidi. It kicked me off, but now I'm back. I don't know how many of you guys stayed on here because of that. That was funny. Super chat, live chat. Got a call. Yeah. Yeah, but anyways, as far as a fifth wheel, hello, the host. Howdy. Your doors you painted are holding up well. Yes. Yeah, the garage door, you're right, Herbie. The garage they did really good. Anyways, you know, you got to figure that our travel trailer is a fifth wheel, a kind of a traditional, one of the traditional fifth wheel plans, you know, the smaller ones. that it has the bedroom up front. It has like some sort of either a pass-through bathroom, or some of them have the bathroom off to the side, and the seating. But it's in a travel trailer, so yeah. As far as getting a fifth wheel, I don't know. It's a thought. I would have to get the right one. And the thing is, though, I'd probably have to get a truck too. Now, if you guys didn't look the other day, let me turn you around here again. Did you see the, I'm going to put you on the stand or the counter here so I don't have to continue to hold you guys up in the air. See if that works. Yeah, that's not so bad. Let me point you up just a little bit. So did you guys see on Fast Lane Truck, they took the new 7.3 liter gas engine. I think it had 15,000 pounds on the trailer. I'm pretty sure it was 15,000 pounds. But they took it up that gauntlet, and it only got 2.2 miles to the gallon. But you got to figure it's a real steep grade over a large percentage, and it changes elevation, and but the truck held speed almost the entire way. And I was watching the RPMs the whole time. They have the official video, and then they have one that's called behind the scenes. Check that one out, because you get to see the truck, the RPMs, and the speed the whole way up the hill. I really like that. That was a very good video that they posted there. You all need to get back to work, Heidi. Heidi's telling everybody to get back to work. That's funny. Let me see here. 4-inch gap under the refrigerator. I got a call from Mary at the same time. Oh my God. What? 4-inch gap under the refrigerator. Yeah, that should work out fine. Heidi asked if you got your honey's dues, and I'd say no. I've been chatting with all the guys. Yeah, I got everything done. 10-speed with a 430. Yes, it had a 430 rear end in the 10-speed. Yeah, that's no, I'm not in trouble. Heidi's kidding around. Mary jumped in there. You're right. She calls us out on it. She's not going to let us get by with it. But that was impressive. That was really impressive. So, and the weight that he was towing, I don't know. That's impressive. I mean, just to say that's all I can really say about it. But that doesn't mean, again, I don't have that trailer, and we don't have a need for it. We really don't have a need to I want to use this trailer a lot. I want to see what happens with this thing over the next 4 years, 5 years. If we even, and there's the other thing, who knows what's going to happen in 4 or 5 years. I still want you guys just to be a little bit taller on this counter. So hang on, I'm going to be shaking you up a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little. I don't think I got anything accomplished there. I didn't get my mount that I usually get. I got this cheap one that I bought so many years ago. I don't remember how much money I paid for it, but it was real cheap. There, that's a little bit better. But I don't want to give out any impression that we're going to sell everything that we have here, which we will. And we're going to hit the road, and we're going to travel, and we will. And we're going to go look at everything that we want to look at, which, there's no reason we will. And then we're just going to continue to do that for the next 10 years, next 5 years. Next 3 years. I don't know. I mean, whenever we go full time, we're going to be going full time at that time. And of course, we'll be documenting all of it and how we feel about everything. But I have no doubt in my mind, and I think Heidi's on the same page with me on this, that at some point we might actually, find ourselves in an area that we really like and really feel comfortable in, and decide we just want to stay there. I have no doubt that's something that could happen. And feel so strongly about it, saying that, there's a 50% chance that will happen. I mean, it could. So as far as not utilizing the trailer the way they want, and then getting into something, bigger because, we're out on the road and, we're missing, let's say, laundry. I know everybody says, and I'm sure it's true because too many people have said it. But there's some people that like their washers in their RVs or washer and dryers, and other people say, huh, what a waste of space and time. If I had to do it, I'd never I'd never do it again. But as far as the RV is concerned, buying something that is going to accommodate the on-road life a little bit more, you may find yourself, once you're out there, and again, I don't know, but I mean, hypothetical scenario, I could pull into a campsite in, let's say, Texas, and it's a real, it's a nice area. There's nice people. They got a lot of amenities. They don't charge very much, and we may find ourselves just saying, okay, we'll stay here. Or I might get into, around our relatives in Florida and, find an area that we like down there. And we might say, well, why don't we just stay at this campground indefinitely? Or, why don't we move into this mobile home park? Or maybe, we leave our RV up north and we buy a mobile home, where somewhere else, and we travel in between, and the RV only gets taken out, for camping trips up here. It's hard to say. So I don't want to invest too much time and effort into, upgrading from something that we just bought. It's nice to look though. And I know where you guys are coming from. Would we ever consider fifth wheel? Yeah. I would consider everything. I'd consider everything that's out there except obviously a tent or a pop-up. I don't know about a slide-in truck camper. I don't think I'm too far along in life to think about bouncing around inside of a truck camper. And Heidi and I would probably be pulling each other's hairs out, doing that. I don't think that I could do necessarily. Yeah, I don't think I could do a class B or a super B, whatever you want to call those. Even the transit vans and stuff. I don't think that I could do that. I could do class C's depending on, what, again, we saw them at the show. Some of them were really appealing. I could see us maybe doing a class A. But again, there's you got trade-offs on all that, but your situation may actually dictate that that's a good choice. It's hard to say though. If you're in a situation where you're going to be traveling a lot over the road, maybe a class A. I mean, you can just tow your car behind you. And that gives you a car, maybe, especially if you're going to go somewhere and work, maybe, that gives you a car to go back and forth to work with instead of a truck, especially if you're in the city or close to a city or you got to drive to the city. But between the two, I mean, out of all those options, definitely travel trailer and a fifth wheel, they're neck and neck. We've got a towing hook up here that really is not that much further off of what a fifth wheel, the comfort of towing a fifth wheel, the comfort of towing this trailer with that ProPride hitch is pretty comparable. I mean, the last fifth wheel I towed was, years ago. I can't even remember when it was. I know that I towed something when I was in the service, and that don't count because those trucks were really old. But anyways, that's something that I just got a notification to remind me, well, the weather's nice, to put the slide in today before all the weather comes. But yeah, that's something that I would think is Barefoot Adventures. Hello, Ken. Hey, Ken, I'm missing some of these. Hey, Jeff, what's happening? I have to get hold of you soon and come out and pick your brain. But it's slim pickings there, buddy. But the fifth wheel obviously still tows and can tow better than a travel trailer and is safer to tow. But there's, It's also taller, definitely, than a travel trailer. Almost all the travel trailers out there, even though this one's really tall, a lot of the fifth wheels are taller than the travel trailers, and so you got some height you got to be worried about. Um, so Barefoot Adventures, you know Jeff somehow? You guys, you from the area? I didn't even pay attention. So I think that uh, the argument with the fifth wheel is, of course, the bed, the use of the bed of your truck, the equipment that's involved for the hitch. I mean, I paid a lot of money for the hitch and everything on this, and of course the fifth wheel, that'd be a whole nother investment going into that. Of course, the cap, I made an investment in the cap, I'd lose that. So there's trade-offs, at least in my situation, but still a consideration. I mean, we talk about that. All right, I think I'm going to close this out because this was supposed to be an impromptu, little quick, just what you doing, RV Daydream, what you doing, and this turned into like a live chat, a real live chat. I don't like doing that with Heidi at work. She I like including her on that. You have barely even started using the TT. Yeah, that's exactly right. But I've got people that, if I had a mobile home, it would be a travel trailer mobile home. Yeah. Hey, Mike, say hello, my good friend Calvin. Calvin. Hey, Calvin, how you doing? Herbie's the man. Just because he's your friend, don't mean he ain't my friend too. Yeah. I just had somebody ask me though about would I ever consider a fifth wheel. Yes, I'd consider a fifth wheel, but not at this point in time. We have way too much to do in this trailer with that truck before we can even think about doing something different. And it, again, the truck and the trailer, just to let you know, I mean, as far as the amount that we owe on it and payments and all that stuff, that will be taken care of before we go full time. It'll be all that we have a plan and it's all taken care of. So yeah, we could, start over, we could, 3 years from now, we could just go trade in the truck. Hell, I could trade in the truck tomorrow. I was checking just out of curiosity, what like Carvana would offer for trade in on the truck. And I mean, they're giving like $33,000 on the truck. Well, that's not too bad. I mean, we only owe maybe 37,000 on the truck, I think, somewhere around that. So that would be kind of cool. Go trade it in and have them tack on that extra money onto a brand new truck if I wanted to. I'm not going to do that though, because that's just not smart. That's not smart at all. So as far as getting into another truck and trailer though, it took us way too long to get to where, this truck and it doing everything that we wanted to do. And this trailer, it took us way, you guys that haven't been with us very long, all those videos we did of RV shopping, we were looking at RVs that whole time. And I mean, you can go back and it's like 3 years. We were looking at RVs and we were putting in a good conscious effort. And that was just what we got on video when we went to some of these sites, these RV dealers. There's a lot of that stuff we picked up, that we were doing. It was online. We're doing a lot of stuff online. And for us, for our situation, we kept on coming back to this kind of a layout and this kind of an RV and essentially this RV. And going to the RV show really opened our eyes to what's available out there and all the other stuff that, some of the stuff's really cool and had some nice features, made me jealous on some of the stuff. But for the most part, I was finding myself going, well, like in the one case I was talking about the flooring moving underneath my feet just by walking through. Now, I know I spoke with Mark. I don't know if you're on here, Mark. And Mark had given me crap about, it's because they make it of lightweight materials so you can haul more. And that's why they make the floor. No, they make the floor cheap because it's cheaper. This one's a 5/8 inch tongue and groove, and it's glued and screwed to the aluminum framing that's on this thing, and then ultimately to the frame. But it's glued and screwed to it's solid in here. And even when we went to the RV show, when we would get into the showers, all the showers, the floors would flex underneath my feet. No, at this point you need to stay with what you purchased. Time and effort per. Yeah, I would suggest the fifth wheel, but not now. Yep, I agree, Pat. But the floors under in the shower, they would move underneath my feet. On all the other ones, the Rockwoods didn't. There was a couple others that didn't, but the Rockwood, all of them didn't. Even over years, the same shower basically, the floor didn't move. And again, we just kept on going back to, there was stuff on this RV that was like, man, I it's only 30 foot long. It's 29 and some inches, 29 and like 9 inches. Might as well just say 30. And the seating area, all these seats and this openness, it's hard to get that in this short of an RV. A lot of the RVs, just didn't have the seating. They only had 2 seats, which, do we need them? I don't know. We just felt comfortable though with them. And do we use them? Yes, absolutely. See, the one thing is, yeah, I will, Ken, for sure. How's it going over there? What happened? Did everybody have a big party when Brexit went through? 4 years after it was supposed to happen. Anyway, I kid around about politics. We got our own problems here. So this table gets used by the computer quite a bit. I use this table, and that takes away some seating. So it's nice that we have this seating here and those 2 chairs back there, and I don't have to worry about hogging up with my computer here. It's not an issue. I like that. Again, in the other RVs, maybe they only have theater seating here and the dinette. You really enjoyed it. That's cool. If you guys don't know, Ken's from over the pond, guys. He's one of our English viewers. I'm not even going to attempt an accent because I don't do accents. That's not my thing. I could do some Southern accent now. And even then, I don't even know what set that would be. Foghorn Leghorn. But the layout of the RV, the bathrooms got plenty of we love the wardrobe storage. We love the storage in the bathroom. We've got all these cabinets up. That's something else we looked at the new RVs. Even the new Rockwood that replaced this model that looks a lot like this model, it doesn't have cabinets over, I think, the dinette now. I think they don't have cabinets over the dinette. They may change that, in a year or so, but right now they don't. I signed up to leave 3.5 years ago, and it took that long to leave. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things that happen in 4 years' time. Trust me. We've got a beautiful 4-year plan that we've been working on here, and it's not been smooth. So the cabinets above in the back, also love that. The kitchen storage, we hate the kitchen storage here, but the fact that we have these cabinets up here and the drawers down below, you've seen this before. We've talked about it. Is the trailer length just the box from the tip of the hip? No, that's the full length. I'm 30 foot, as long as it goes. Well, actually, we're a little bit longer now because I have that Pro Pride hitch on the front. So we're probably 30 right on the. Oh, you watch Fox. Fox is fun. It's like a game show. But the length of the trailer before we added the Pro Pride hitch on it was 29 foot, and I think it was 6 inches or 8 inches or 9 inches, something like that. But that's the whole length. I think that might be including, I don't know if that includes our spare tire, but anyways, from bumper to tip of the hitch. And then, of course, we added the Pro Pride on there, so it added about that much. So we're definitely, 30 foot now. Do you use GoFundMe? No. Now we have Patreon, and we have a PayPal, but we don't ever talk about that. GoFundMe, I don't know. GoFundMe, isn't that if you have a problem or if you have an issue or something like that? Is that what GoFundMe is supposed to be? if it's my dog's dying of cancer, GoFundMe, to help pay for my dog's vet bill or cancer operation or something. I don't know how GoFundMe even works, but no, we do have a Patreon account. Um, did you get a recliner at the RV show? Nope. Heidi talked me out of it again. As you know, my wife is an American. Yes, from Bama. No, it's Greenbow, Alabama. I don't know where she's from. I know it's Alabama, but at least you had an AL there. I've been following for years. Yep. Ken's I got an email from him a long time ago. He's the one that suggested, which I try to do. I never forget for the most part, but I try to make sure that I put a map on where I'm talking about in the U.S. in general. Whenever we say we're at this campground at this site or whatever, I try to put, and Ken's the one that suggested that, which I wasn't doing that before, and sometimes I forget to do it. But the camper is for the length. I still would like to have a recliner. Heidi told me that I could buy a recliner, and she said just buy one. She goes, and honestly, tell you the truth, the two, I don't think she has ever. Only one of us has sat at a time in those back two rockers. However, when Gene and John Wright came and visited us up at Hershey, they sat down in both of those. And also, we had another visitors. I can't remember who it was now. And they sat down in maybe one or both of those. I don't remember now, to tell you the truth. But I like having the seating back there. I don't know if we need two rockers back there, though. I think we could get away with one recliner. And of course, that big refrigerator freezer that we have, Heidi really wants to incorporate that into our RV travels to store food, when we're full time. And it takes up a decent amount of space. I mean, it's a big chest, cooler. This is a little refrigerator cooler. You'll see this review coming out in a few days. I'm waiting for my discount codes. Hershey Motorhome, hello. We just talking about Hershey. That's funny. But anyways, I have another refrigerator freezer here, a review that I did, and I'm waiting for a discount code so you guys get a discount if you decide to order it. But the one that we have, that Heidi wants to keep, it's big. It's really big. And I got the cover for it. I did end up ordering the cover for it. But it's bigger than our son's that's in his van. And it's going to take up some space back there, that's for sure. But, I think it's, listening to Heidi, what she says about it, I understand why she wants to do what she does, or what she wants to do. And that is, she's saying that she wants to do like we do at the house here. We know that the refrigerator, there's not very much room for meat up there, and we are meat eaters. I mean, there's just no two ways about it. I don't know if we'll ever go vegetarian. Right now, neither one of us have any, want to. But like in our freezer at home, I mean, it's pretty well packed. So there's an issue. Grills. I did a review on a grill. The Weber Q grill. Go into my playlist and it's reviews and RV products and thoughts or stuff or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. And there will be one for a Weber Q grill. We had charcoal. I had a Weber Jumbo. I love Weber product. We have a Weber Performer grill at the house here, and we loved it. We loved it. With the kids here and everything, we love cooking on charcoal. I used to pump propane at an auto parts store that I worked at, and for the longest time, I could taste the propane on my food. And I could still, if it's a crappy propane grill, I can still taste propane in my burgers and stuff. I know you guys saying, oh, there's something wrong with I've heard the arguments when I've mentioned this before. The guys say, oh, it's because your grill's bad. It's a horrible grill. I'm telling you, if you pump propane as much as I did, and you smelled that raw propane all the time, it's a burned in memory in your senses, your olfactory senses, that it doesn't take very much taste for that smell to just come right back again. And anyway, so we used to use charcoal. We have a big jumbo or a performer grill, which on my other channel, I think it was RVDaydream. I'm sorry, RVDaydream on LiboView. It's all one word, LiboView. I did a review of that grill, and yeah, if you want to check that out, it's really nice for the home. Anyways, because it has an igniter, you put your charcoal in the baskets, and you turn on the propane, and you push the igniter, and it ignites, and you just run it until it burns, gets the charcoal started, and then you turn off the propane. The propane is just a little bottle just for starting the charcoal, so it is really nice. So we got a Jumbo Joe grill, charcoal grill, because again, the kids were going camping with us, and we wanted to cook on charcoal because we love charcoal. Actually, lump. We use hardwood lump. Usually Cowboy, I think, is the brand that we use. But anyways, the problem with that is you got to dispose of the ashes, and which is no big deal if you just put them in the fire ring. But the thing, you got to let it cool down before you dump it. And that's, I mean, you can get away with all that, but then it's best to wipe it out. If not, you're going to put it in the trunk of your car. You're going to put it in your RV. You're going to drive down the road. It's going to shake. It's going to shake those ashes down into that cup. It's just, it was just dirty. And you got to carry charcoal. You got to carry, a bag of charcoal too. So we decided not to. As far as the propane grill, then we got into the propane Weber Q grill, and I don't taste that propane. And here's the thing. We don't even cook on our big Weber propane grill at home. We haven't cooked in a long time. We have lots of charcoal. It's because even though we have our Jumbo Joe, it's in the basement. We don't use it. It'll be sold. That big Weber that's in the back, that's all covered up on our back patio, it's never used. It'll get sold. We use that little Weber at home here, that little propane grill. Now, of course, Rockwood included a grill that hangs on the side of this camper. And it's cheap. It's real inexpensive, but we'll use it until it breaks, and then we'll start using our Weber again. And we'll start carrying our Weber with us when we're going on camping trips. But when we're full time, we'll be carrying the Weber for sure. The Weber Q is nice. As far as the Blackstone, that is all your preference. Personally, for us, we don't cook that much in a pan or on a griddle. And that's what that Blackstone, it's a griddle. Cleanup's nice. It's electric. It's not as messy necessarily. You still have to, scrape the grease, clean it. You got your drip tray. You got to dispose of that. You can get it any size. It's pretty big. But I would have to think that it's probably about the same as the Weber Q as far as the amount of footprint that it takes up. But I think they even make a gas version of it. It's just we don't cook on, and if I wanted to cook on a grill, the Weber you can buy for one half. You just take off the grate that's there, and you can put a griddle plate down, and now you have a griddle and a grill. We like the flame. We like the flame through. Again, that I don't taste the propane from that little Weber. The flame's not very big, so it does a great job, and it's pretty portable. I'd have to say that they could have made it in a better form factor, because we've had portable like charcoal grills in the past, and even gas grills, cheap ones that all fold within themselves, and the feet fold up and they become the handle and all that crap. This one don't do that. It does not do that. So like I said, form factor's a little clunky on the Weber Q, but it's a very good grill. It does a good job cooking, and very, very, doesn't use a lot of propane, all that stuff. See the cameras in and out. Watch, I'm going to screw with you guys. Ready? Look at the lighting. Changes on the phone. I wish there was some way I could lock that in. Here, let me try to touch the screen. Nope. Oh, yeah, it touched my face. Thunderbird. You made it a little bit earlier this time. I have a Coleman Road Trip LX. Love it. Yeah. You should do a review of it. We almost bought that Coleman when we were shopping. But again, we liked the Weber product, so we kind of went into it. The Coleman, more surface area than that Weber Q. Of course, you can buy it with the legs. I think the Weber you can get something too. I like the Coleman. Yeah, you should do a review on it. Probably get some people interested in it. I did that review of our Big Performer grill on my other channel, and I've actually sold a few of those through Amazon. They're an expensive grill, but I think we paid $200 for ours back in the day. It was on sale. Maybe it was a little bit less than that. And I think now they're selling for about the same, about $230, $240. But it cooks a lot of food, and Heidi loves the slow cook chicken on that. All right, I think I'm done. It's 58 degrees inside here. The RV's being warmed up to some extent. I got to move my, here's one of the things. I got to move windy, cold in the desert. No, we're 54, and it's 54 outside, and it's sunny here. We got a little bit of wind, but it's short-lived. That's why I got to move the slide in. We put it out for the show there. 63 there. Well, I don't think we're going to get to 60 today. we definitely won't get 60, next few days. But we're warmer than average. We've been warmer than average every month since October, I think it was. We're warmer than that. We've just been warmer than average. It's pretty amazing. And some months we're really way warmer than average. I mean, like way up higher than average, and it's been going on for a few years now. So yeah, the worst part about this RV, by far, and it's not that it's a big thing. Yeah, if you come back, it'll get real cold. Matter of fact, I think within a week to 10 days here, it's supposed to drop back down to cooler than average temperatures for a stretch. But they said it doesn't look like a long-lasting pattern, so it'll probably go back up again. But yeah, the worst downfall of the RV, which people have talked about in the past, I have to take the one rocker chair and I have to slide it from where it's at over to in front of the door before I put the slide in. Other than that, I just got to make sure the door is closed over here for the bathroom, because it has a tendency to swing open. I don't want to get it caught. And I have to put the stand that you're currently on, the flip up countertop for the sink extension, or the counter extension. I got to put that down. You know what? Yeah, I got to put that down because of this. I think that has a lot to do with Weber Q. However, it's been more convenient to use the Rockwood. Yes. Yeah, Jay, I think that's the same with us. I think that we use that one because it's, matter of fact, I told Heidi when that one finally falls apart that we might see what the cost is to replace it, and then make a decision on the Weber, because the Weber takes up a little bit of space too. But that one that hangs on the outside there, I told her also I could see what it would take to mount the Weber on the side, on that same hook. I could probably figure out how that framing could be attached to the Weber. They're $100. Yeah, cool. I'm glad. You know what? We made that Weber Q, mate. As much as we love it, it might be on the outs, because when it comes right down to it, we just want to cook the food and make it convenient, And as far as dorking around and having a grill that I've got to pull out from somewhere, and then hook up to propane. This one, of course, the propane's right there. Yeah. $100, huh? Buy an extra one, just throw it in the truck. When you get something really filthy and you don't want to clean it, why not just toss it and get another one, put it in there. But anyways, going back to what I was saying on the new RVs that replaced this Rockwood, it's a 2604, but it's an SW. Ours is a WS. They don't make the WS anymore. There's no more WS unless they bring it back. There's no more WS. The difference is the bathroom. You lose storage, and the bathroom's off to the side. The TV is over against the wall of the new bathroom wall, and there's a little fireplace down below. but you lose the storage in your bathroom. You get a pretty good medicine cabinet. You get the same size shower, of course, same toilet, and the space is it's tight, but it's still doable. The bedroom's the same. The kitchen is identical. There's no changes to the kitchen whatsoever. The dinette and the couch are identical. They just switched them. They put the dinette over here. They put the couch over here. And of course, the TV being there, that's one of the reasons. And you get the same rockers. They took the slide, they moved it forward. So now the chairs can stay up against the back wall when the slide comes in. So you don't have to move the chairs hardly at all. The thing is the with the dinette and being moved and the slide being more forward. Yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, I bet you still have to put down the table extension for that, but you don't have to worry about the bathroom door. There's a hallway door that goes to the bedroom. The thing that we didn't like about it is if we have guests here for whatever reason, if our son wants to stop and hang out with us, in the camper and stay the night, or if our daughter and her husband and their, our grandchild wants to stay the night, we have the ability to pull the bed out back here, and they have equal access to the bathroom and a door that they could use just for themselves. And of course, we have the same. With the new design, with the couch being here, that's the pull out part. That's the pull out sofa part. Now you can't use your kitchen when you have somebody staying and on that couch. I mean, I guess you could. You probably could walk around the edge of the bed and stuff, but yeah, there's always going to be a trade-off. And again, like I said, they lose a set of these cabinets. These 3 cabinets are lost when the dinette's on this side. So that's different. Today's not a very productive day. I had a replacement storage cover that is much more sturdy under warranty. The cover that came apart was falling apart. Oh yeah, our cover's horrible. It was junk when we got it. How hard is it to plumb your own LP Quick Connect? I'd like to add one to my Coachman and put down the frame somewhere near the back of the camper. Just use it for the grill or generator. I don't think it'd be too hard. It depends on what your kind of line. Like my old Terry travel trailer, it was old iron pipe that was underneath. Now remember, once you get to a certain point, whatever line they have that you tie into, I tied into. If you guys remember the old Terry camper, I tied into one of the copper lines that was on the inside and put a T in there, and then ran a flexible line off that T so I could hook up to the grill on the outside. You need to find what kind of line you have underneath your camper now. I'm assuming that you don't have copper, unless you should only run copper or flexible line. Let me rephrase that. You should only run some copper and some flex. Okay, let me change it again. Let me see if I can say this the right way. Copper line is meant to be used just so many feet away from its final destination. You should have a much sturdier, heavier gas line that runs everywhere else, that's more durable, can take rocks hitting it, the flex, maybe abrasion if it's rubbing against something, all that. So you should have a real nice heavy line somewhere else. A lot of the new RVs, though, I think use some sort of a heavy, flexible line. As far as teeing into that and using that, I don't know. I really don't. Pretty sure that all the flexible line is used. Yeah, okay. If you've got flexible line, I don't know how. I'm sure they make them. They have to. I mean, think about it. The manufacturers, they probably run that propane line everywhere it needs to be, and then they go back and they cut it and put a T in and run up to whatever appliance there is. I'm pointing to the oven here across from me. And they just run up to that appliance using that T. I mean, I'm sure they don't run a hose so far, put in a fitting, run, and then run, fitting. I bet you they run the line first, make sure it does its full run, and then at that point put a fitting on the end of the full run to connect to whatever, and then of course go back and cut it and put in the appliances. I'm just guessing. I didn't see that part when they were making our RV. I don't know what we have down there. I'm sure it's flexible. But yeah, my old, it's not a lot of high pressure. You just got to make sure it don't leak. My old 92 Terry, it was real easy. Again, because I had copper line, I just cut it into that and put in a compression T, and it was all good. It was all worked out fine. The guys that bought our RV, we have that outdoor stove. He said everything. He loved everything about the RV. Like I said, they're in Florida work camping now. It's good to know that the RVs they enjoy the life that we prepared it for, that we don't get to use it for. Our son is the same way. All that preparation, all that work and everything, and he, of course, he's enjoying himself. That's kind of cool that he's doing what he's doing. He's finding out a lot of stuff. Regardless of how grown up we may think our kids are, you think back to how dumb was I at 24? I mean, I was dumb. I did some dumb stuff, and I was in some dumb situations. Nothing crazy illegal or anything except for the street racing part. Well, I can't say that. There were some other things that I definitely cannot talk about that was involved that could have gone really bad for me, but it didn't. But I think in his situation, he was so much further along than I was at his age, even though, I'd already been in the Army and come back, and I was married, and I mean, all that stuff. I had just gotten, maybe I hadn't been married. I can't remember now. Can't remember at 24. I don't think I was married at 24. Oh, yeah, I was married at 24 because Heidi was 19. Heidi was 19 and I was 23 at the time when we got married. So yeah, I was already married. So even though there was a lot that seemed like that it was hell on wheels. Even though I was much worse than that, bad. Anyways, he's so much further along with his thinking about certain things, but there's a lot he just hasn't experienced. I experienced a lot. I guess that my experience at age 24 was way more than his experience, but his knowledge and his thinking about stuff, he's pretty, reflective about a lot of things, and he's well read, and he forms pretty good opinions about things. But yeah, when I was younger, and it kind of all centered around that car for the most part, because I was even to this day, I try, I'm humble about a lot of stuff, because things could be so much different than what it currently is, and I appreciate so much more, because there was a time where I didn't have crap. My parents didn't have crap, I didn't have crap, and it was just, it just kind of trickles down, and got into weird situations, and I just didn't feel comfortable. But there was a part of me when I was younger, I was very confident, and to the point I was cocky on some aspects, definitely cocky, and very confident, and tie that in with having a nice car, a really a quick, fast car. My driving was pretty outrageous because I was cocky and I was confident and I had a fast car. And when you was racing, when I was racing. And now you can imagine being a typical young man at that age, how street racing, right? Whenever, just like cars and women. So guess what? If you're a cocky guy that has a real nice flashy car, or a confident person that can put together a sentence, you can imagine the kind of women that I were getting involved with, or the girls that I were getting involved with, and yeah, a couple of those situations. One in particular could have gotten real. Well, actually, two could have gotten really caused my life to go a whole different direction. But the yeah, that was I was just a different person then. I was much younger. I was in much better shape. I actually, it was appealing. I was appealing to people, and I attracted sometimes the wrong girls. Do your torque flex walk? Keep up? Do they walk? Let me see what it says. Merle, do your torque flex walk, keeping the weight equal on both axles no matter whether the trailer is level front to back? I had a flat deck trailer that was a problem with. No, I haven't had any problems with. If you watched our one video when we were going to when we went to Hershey, when we were at the Hershey show, and I was pulling up on the blocks, even though those things are independent, you can see once you get to a certain height, the other wheel, an axle, will be floating in the air because it's just too high and it's past its travel limit of the downward travel limit. So as far as setting it on flat ground and moving around, no, I don't have any problems. I mean, I still use the same old wheel chocks that go in between the two wheels and push out. Of course, I don't over tighten them or anything. I was really concerned about that with those torque flex axles. I'll tell you what I notice about these Torx Flex or Torflex. When you use your weight distribution on these axles, I'm finding them to be more springy. I don't know how to describe it. Bouncy. This RV has better travel and rides smoother. It's kind of like if you had an old car that had bad shocks on it. As long as you didn't go over something really crazy, the car rode that you had this really nice gradual comfort of it going down the road. But if you hit a bump, then you had what they used to call the LTD bounce, because remember all those LTDs? I don't know what the deal was, but they had a whole problem there, a slew of them in the 70s, the late 70s, that the front ends would be out. Remember Uncle Buck's car? Remember how his car was always bouncing going down the road? Yeah, that LTD bounce. Well, don't get me wrong. The feeling that I get with this trailer is nothing close to that, but just having a good seat of the pants feel driving down the road, I can tell it feels as if the trailer axles are matched really well for the trailer. If I was just pulling it down the road, but with a vehicle that, period. But as soon as I put those weight distribution bars on to put some of the weight back on this trailer and on these axles, I have a feeling that it's causing it to be a little bit more bouncy back here. It's just a slight feeling that I get. I've never had stuff bounce. When our little Terry camper, probably because it was so short too. I mean, that has a lot to do with it. But we would have stuff like in our Terry camper that we knew that we could leave on the kitchen counter, which is up in forward of the front axles. You know what? Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just because of where the axle placement is and where the kitchen is. But I know that there's all the stuff that's, if I leave something on the back counter accidentally, okay, for example, the flashlight, we have a magnetic flashlight. Let me show you that real quick if I can find it. The Harbor Freight Special, whenever they say free gift or whatever, pick one of these up. I don't know, but I think we only changed the battery one time in this, and it's Chinese. It's got its flaws, but this is Harbor Freight. It's got a magnet on it. We used to stick this on the hood, the range hood, so we always had a light. We knew where it was. I can't do that in this RV. If I do, it falls every single time. No, I didn't have shocks on the Terry. There's just leaf springs, and it was just the regular metal wishbones. There was no rubber on them or nothing. It was just a, just a standard leaf spring axle from 1992. But anyways, it was a lighter RV. It was a shorter RV. I mean, there's a lot of differences that between the two. But I find this one, and again, it could be because of the length. I mean, if you think about it, you still have two axles that are basically, if I compared this to the Terry, howdy from New Zealand. From tire to tire edge on the two, it's only so far apart from each other. If I was to hold my hands like that and I went up and put it up against the Terry, it'd pretty much be the same. And of course, the width is about the same too. So basically, you have the same type of axle width, wheelbase, front to rear and side to side. But now I have, this much longer trailer on it. So as far as it being a fulcrum, I'm not doing that right. As far as it being a fulcrum, you have the Terry trailer that was real short, that probably didn't have a lot of movement going back and forth. Well, I should do this for two axles. But as far as this trailer, you got a lot more overhanging on either side. So you got a lot more fulcrum effect potentially. It rides different. It doesn't ride bad. It rides really good. For how heavy it is, it was a nice, when I had the old F-250 and we had the old Terry camper, the old F-250 had less gears, it was just a 4-speed, had less torque overall, through the entire range, had less horsepower, it had less height, it was only 2-wheel drive, it was less weight because of it being 2-wheel drive and smaller. It was smaller in length. And of course, the Terry camper was less weight, less height, and less length. However, going to that bigger truck and going to this bigger, heavier, taller, longer trailer, the towing experience is pretty much the same. It's really close to the same. So if I was to tow this camper with that old truck, I'm sure I would have noticed some differences. That's for sure. I mean, obviously, the old truck and trailer combination was a dream all the way around. If it would have had 4-wheel drive, I would have potentially kept that truck and made 2 or 3 more upgrades to it to make it to where exactly the way I wanted it. I would have felt really confident of it towing this RV, but I still don't think it would be doing it as good as this truck that we currently have. So, yeah, it rides good. The Torflex axles, I don't see any downfalls to them right now. But I was concerned about it when I got it. Those axles are just inputted into those rubber, or I should say into those square tubes. It's a small square tube that's being put into another small square tube at a diamond shape. And then there's rubber in the corners. I was concerned that if I put these wheel chocks, that they would push the wheels further apart or something. It doesn't do it. I haven't noticed anything out there that scares me off and says, oh man, these things are going to be a nightmare. So I don't know. That's a tough call. Any other questions? Anybody's got any other questions? Anything at all? Oh, you got shocks. Thoughts on adding a cargo box to my bumper of my 23-foot travel trailer? I would have to move my spare up higher between the taillights. Okay. Go back and check out my video if you haven't seen that on the Terry camper. Whenever it was within the same time frame of the video says something about weak bumper. How weak is your RV bumper? I think it says. Shortly after that, I found that there's 23, that box on our Terry travel trailer, it was a 22-foot box. the overall length was like 25. And I found out when I put the cargo carrier in the back, when I put weight on that cargo, I mean, first of all, the cargo carrier weighs something. Anyways, I took away tongue weight to the point where it was unsafe on that RV. That's why I put my generator on the tongue, which of course I did a video on that. I did a few videos of that. And I was not sorry that I did that. I was not sorry that I added that travel trailer to the tongue, or the generator mount to the front of the travel trailer. It worked out perfect. So I would be concerned. Like in my case with this trailer, I have a ton of tongue weight because of, I'll talk about the mount that racks, that, like what Tilo says there. Yeah, during the day, why not? Okay, first let me go back to the question. I have a lot of tongue weight on this RV, so I'm not going to have any problems adding weight to the back of this RV because I have that ProPride hitch up there putting a bunch of tongue weight on the front. When we get, which eventually we'll get lithium batteries, and I moved the 2 lead acid batteries, get rid of those and put the lithium batteries in the cargo area. That's going to move some of that weight away from the tongue. I might be able to move the propane tanks back a little bit, and that would actually take a little bit of weight from the tongue. I don't think I need to, but I might. I don't know. Just depends on what I feel. I might actually take the propane tanks and mount them down in the frame. I think I could fit them just down in there. Again, that's just a thought. Who knows? I might be talking out my butt here. I might not do any of that. But the batteries relocating, I think that's a good possibility. But as far as how long this trailer is and how the newer trailers are kind of tongue heavy anyways, and now that I've added all that extra tongue weight, I don't have a problem with what I'm going to put on the back of the trailer. I actually think that I can get away with putting like 250 pounds, 300 pounds, 400 pounds back there, as long as I have the frame welded out and built upon, so you can't use your bumper for that much weight. That's for sure. The fact that you've got such a small trailer, you want to play around with. What I would do is weigh the box that you want to put back there. Of course, you already got your spare tire back there, and weigh the mount that you're wanting to put back there. Weigh it all out, and then take that amount of weight. And of course, you're going to be out from your RV a little bit. Maybe you can just fabricate up a board or something to hold up again, just to set everything on there to see what that weight's going to do to your tongue weight. So weigh your tongue weight before, weigh your tongue weight after. Like I said, I did it. That's the other video that I think you may want to watch. It was my one for doing tongue weight. I did a review of the tongue weight scale that I use, but shortly after that, I did a video, or just before that, I did a video of actually measuring my tongue weight with that scale and showing what happens when I would just walk to the front of the RV, or if I sat on the back of the RV, what it did to the tongue weight. It was crazy. I mean, it was there was a good difference there. It was because the RV was so short. And of course, that RV being a little bit older, they used to put the axles kind of in the middle, and so it ran a little bit lighter on the tongue weight in the first place. But still, that's my thought on putting a generator on the back of a small RV. A bigger RV, you probably get away with it, no problem. Again, don't use the bumper. Even those, you got to read into the small print. Even those brackets that I put on that video, I can't remember, mount and lock, but they just call it mountain lock. Those extensions, they add 400 pounds, make the bumper to where it can carry like 400 pounds, but they're very, you can carry 400 pounds like right above the bumper with that, in a small area. You can't just put a big thing on the back and add 400 pounds then. It doesn't work that way. It helps with holding the bumper on, but yeah, be real careful. Yeah, safety struts, you got it. Yeah, I put those on the old one. Again, I did a video on all that stuff a long time ago. clicking the screen here, guys. So if you get the rack that mounts above the propane tanks, a couple things. Like in our case, we had a window up there with a road cover that opened up, and if I put that rack up there, I couldn't open my window. Sure, no problem, Tony. So the other thing that I didn't like is I've got to lift that generator up on top of that rack. I could stand on the bed of the truck, and if I could get close enough, I could put the tailgate down. If I got close enough, I should be able to put the generator up there if it's a small generator. But at that time I had a Champion. The other thing is now I lose my view out my front window, and that was where our dinette was and everything. Now on this RV, the window's up higher, and it doesn't open. It's a windshield that's up there, an automotive windshield. But we do look out it from our bedroom. But the other thing comes into play. I didn't want my generator running necessarily, like in my case on this one. I wouldn't want my generator running in my bedroom right when it's right there. So I have to hear it, especially since my cord's all the way in the back anyways, and I'd have to run it all the way up. Now there's a way around that. Of course, with my old Terry camper, I added a switchover box, automatic transfer box underneath the bed, and I ran a cord, the power cord from outside. I ran into that power box, and then I ran another cord that went to a new plug that and I ran all the wire and everything to where I could just plug into the generator on the front of the old RV. But on this RV, like in my case, you got to think about it. The last thing you want to do to adding weight to an RV, even though I don't think that you'd be affected by it that much, if you add weight to an RV, you don't want it up high. You want to get low center of gravity. You want to get all your weight down as low as possible. Now, speaking of that generator, it's not going to be that much more. But the other thing, like I said, still putting it up there, now it gets to see all the weather. It's down there. If it's on the back, you're going to see all that turbulent crap that you get all over. The wear that the turbulence from the air. You know how the back of your travel trailer gets really dirty when you drive down the road, but the sides are clean. It's like, man, what's up with this? It's because of the turbulent air just kind of billowing back there and swirling around, and dirt has tendency to stick to stuff. Other than that, your generator's not going to be seeing hard pounding rain, ice and snow building up and packing on there, dirt being thrown up on there, but mainly rocks being kicked up and thrown, and bugs coming over the top of your vehicle. All that. It's not going to, if it's on the front, you're going to see all that stuff. So now you got to put a cover on it. You got to make sure that stays covered, protected, or you got to put it in a box on the front. Again, all this stuff's doable, but ultimately for us, since we have a front bedroom, I don't want that generator running outside my bedroom window. Safety reasons, I'm not too concerned. I like how high it sits because the exhaust fumes, that makes the exhaust fumes much more out, to where they don't go under the trailer. But if we had a rear bedroom, I would definitely consider it for this RV because it's quick and easy. It's a quick and easy. Like I said, even though my cord's all the way back here, I'd put in another transfer box and run the cord underneath and plug it into the generator to when we got done for the night, you just fire it up. Now, the good thing about having the generator on the front, well, one thing is in my case on this one that would make me not want to mount it up there is because the extra tongue weight. I'm already real heavy on the tongue. The trailer came with 850 pounds or 820 pounds of tongue weight when it's empty. Well, I have a 60-gallon freshwater tank, and guess what? It's up near the front of the axles at least. It's the furthest tank forward. So if I put even 30 gallons of water in there, just to get us by for, a week on the road traveling, you can imagine a lot of that weight's forward of the axle, so the tongue's seeing it. Also, I have the ProPride hitch on there, like I said, so that adds, whatever the weight is, another 200 pounds of metal that's up there. So I'm pretty close with considering the hitch, and then I have that rock cover that goes across the back of my truck, and then the Pro Pride hitch. When all that's in the truck and connected, that hitch on the back of that truck is seeing close to I don't know, 1,000 pounds. I think it's 1,050 pounds. It's seeing, altogether. I don't want to add more metal on the tongue and a generator up top to add even to that. But if I didn't have heavy tongue weight and the bedroom wasn't up front, in this case, I would lose a view looking out the front window. If I didn't have a front window, I would definitely think about that Stromberg Carlson generator mount that goes on the frame up front. It's nice. It's nicely made. I don't see anything wrong with it. They say it's kind of hard to access your propane tanks to some extent. I've seen guys that say that's not a problem. You just have to, pay attention to the way you mount things, because it has a lot of adjustability. I think that there's a way to mount it even lower, but that's what I got to with the old RV. I was looking at that and I started thinking, well, maybe if I buy this mount, and what if I cut down the legs? And I did it. Next thing I know, it's like, well, shoot, if I'm going to move the propane tanks forward, why don't I just have a thing welded right on the tongue for the generator to sit nice and low? And that's what we did with the old one. Because of the tongue weight, I still want to add one real low on the front of this RV. But the best part about your generator being mounted on your trailer, if it's on the front, that's the smoothest ride by far. That's that point where it mounts. It's the least amount of shock and bouncing and stuff. Not that generators are necessarily acceptable to problems whenever it sees that kind of stuff, because they do vibrate a lot when they're running. It's still it's nice that you can do that and protect it to some extent. Putting it on the back though, you're gonna see some bouncing, but it gets protected from all the weather. And like I said, in my case, it's going to help me with my tongue weight. It's a little heavy. I seen somebody in here. What was the weight of oil did you run on your big block? On the 8.1. I just run 10W30 with the old truck. It all depends. You have an 8.1. You got to check to see what the manufacturer. See, my old truck didn't have like needle bearings in the rollers. It didn't have needle bearing roller lifters. It didn't have roller lifters, so I didn't have to worry about the needle bearings or anything like that. So I didn't have to run like 5W anything. I could run 10W30 or 10W40 in the summer if I wanted to. I just got back from so check what that 8.1 can get away with. That 5W, remember, that's just during cold weather and startup. So you're really not, you said that you are running 530 and you're thinking to go to 1030. The only thing that helps with is startup. I just got back from AutoZone because my 2019 Ram had a check engine light on it, 7,000 miles, Jesus. Ended up being a 040 evap code. Did they sell you a new gas cap? Did you check your gas cap? Just make sure, put your gas cap and click it. Make sure it's clicked. That will set that code off. That evap system, it's a joke. You get all those codes on these new vehicles. We were driving down the road. I think it was the seat belt. I got to mention that to Heidi. We were driving somewhere the other day, and all of a sudden I seen this red square that popped up in the middle of my dash. Audi Northwoods, and it was so fast I couldn't see. It just went ding ding, popped up, went away. Before I could even read it or see what, I just seen a square, and then I couldn't even see what was inside. And I'm like, wow, that was weird. And it goes ding ding, and it went away again. And then it didn't do it at all. I said, I have no idea what that was. That was the strangest thing ever. It's the kind of, Ford has a big square that pops up in the middle of your screen, like it says, your key is on, or when you're trying to get out, or your key is still in the ignition if it's not running and you just turned it off, or your door's ajar. It's a square that just pops up in the middle of the screen. And it's like, man, that is crazy. The Northwoods RV Life. Do you catch any crap from Northwood RV, the manufacturer? Absolute Northwood. You know, Arctic Fox, the guy that make Arctic Fox. Do you see anybody that ever is on your channel because of that, or did they ever send it? I don't see what. I mean, they don't own those names. I was just curious. Yeah, absolute Northwood product. Northwood. I don't think they call themselves Northwood RV though. We haven't yet. Up here in Michigan, everything is named Northwoods everywhere. Yeah, I know the feeling. I mean, I don't know if you could drive down. Well, I know you can't drive down. Literally, you can only go that far, and you pass the first thing that says Tri-County. And the other thing, Mahoning Valley. We have those two names that are just all over the place. The dairy that's right up the street, it's Mahoning Valley Dairy. It's just the convenience store. It used to be a dairy years ago, and it was called Mahoning. It's just been like that since the 50s. So anyways, Mahoning Valley Dairy. And then before you even get to that, though, you go past Tri-County Airport. It's right at the top of the hill here. But if you go this way, and then if you go just a little bit further up the road, you got Tri-County Power Equipment, outdoor power equipment. It's just Tri-County and Mahoning Valley is everywhere around here. It's funny how that works out. I can understand the Tri-County. That shows up a lot. We're real close to Tri-State, though. Just a little bit further south here, even though it'd still be in this county. If you go south of here, Tri-State is real. Of course, everybody's got a Tri-State. Some place got a quad state. But yeah, because we're so close to Michigan and Pennsylvania, West Virginia and Pennsylvania, that it doesn't, I only have to go probably 30 miles, I think, and everything down there is considered tri-state, because at that point you're real close to those. Although they're very different. It's funny, West Virginia is real close to Ohio in a lot of things, but some of the biggest differences, definitely Pennsylvania. That's definitely a different state. There's no doubt about it. All those inspections you have to have on your vehicle for it to pass. It can't have rust on it. It's got to be repaired. Can't have rust holes. You got to go through all these inspections and stuff. Hell, we go over and buy Pennsylvania cars that people are like, oh, it's not going to be able to get inspected until this is fixed, and then it will pass inspection. And then we go over there and buy them for dirt cheap, because it's not worth to anybody to over there unless they make all those changes to make it to where it can be, and then we bring it to Ohio. It's like, yep, it's good here. We ain't got no inspections. I mean, this county don't even have emissions inspections, so we can do anything over here. And they do. You see the crap that runs up and down the street. Broken frame trucks, you see the bed of the truck like this and the cab like this, and exhaust all leaking. Wish I knew. Wish I knew. Wish you knew. What you wish you knew. Whew. All right. What time is it? Somebody tell me what time it is. Eastern time. So New Zealand, you hold your tongue. Eastern Standard Time. I can't look at the time on my phone because I'm using it for this, and I don't have my other phone with me. It's 2. Holy cow! I'm not far from you in Ohio. I was just outside and seen a dandelion. 12:04. Come on, Thunderbird. 2:04. Thank you. Bird's throwing me 2:04. It's funny you say that. Seen a dandelion. Keep talking. I did at the beginning of the live chat, I think. Yeah, I did at the beginning of the live chat. Can you believe? A freaking fly. I had a fly on our porch. We get one day it's in the 50s, and here's a fly. So guess what came out of winter storage? Fly swatter. So that's what happened to that fly. I think I posted it on Facebook. I was upset that there was a fly in our house. Hershey Motorhome. Hey Hershey, I got a hat for you. You still on there? It's not for you. It's for me. I just seen it hanging over here. I haven't worn it for a while. Oh yeah. There we go. Yep. Yeah, I forgot it was in here. The only reason I don't like to wear it is when we go down south, I always seem to have a dark colored hat on. Um, and the sun, of course, heats everything up there. My brain's already running at a temperature sometimes that don't need to be going any higher. But more importantly than that, it's a light colored hat. So of course I'm always, and you can see, I mean, even now, I don't know if you can tell, look how dirty my hands are. I haven't worked on anything today. It's just the kind of crap that I run into just doing, handling stuff and doing stuff. I seen somebody say something. 48 here in Wisconsin. How are you that warm today? I don't know. I have no idea. It was kind of chilly yesterday, and then it was the boss is here. Heidi's on here. She's the one commenting RV Daydream. My cousin had a robin in his front yard over the weekend here in Michigan. I haven't seen really any birds. I haven't heard any. I got to take this hat off now because I don't want to get it dirty. I'm going to find myself grabbing it. 44 degrees in Lancaster, California, the home of the Lance Camper Factory. We like to have a Lance, but they're just storage inside. Watch what you say. Heidi, what are you doing? Why you got a lunch at 2? What are you on cigarette break? It's 2 o'clock. Yeah, it is a beautiful day. I just put the lithium battery in the. Okay, I'm gonna have to read that. Lunch. You're at lunch. I haven't eaten anything today. I think there's still spaghetti squash in there, right, Hyde? I gotta see what this question was. I put a lithium battery underneath the bed, put the Honda generator where the batteries used to be, and then I put the extended run gas tank on top of the tray. 35. Wow, that's a good idea. That's not a bad idea. In our situation, again, I don't want any more weight on the tongue. And I don't want the generator running outside my bedroom window. Just because of the noise. Even though those Hondas are quiet, I'd still rather have it in the back of the RV that I don't have to listen to it. Usually, if you have the rooftop air on, it's that Honda generator. When I had it outside here underneath the slide running, we had the rooftop air on. If you just step into the bath, I couldn't even hear the generator running at all. It puts you to sleep. That's a good. Yeah, like I said, usually if you're running the generator, yeah, we were being good. Usually if you're running the generator, at least in our case, we're just doing it to run the rooftop air. So that little Honda, it's I hear the air conditioner usually over the Honda. Pat, now that you're on here, was that you that did that? No, that was Opa and Oma. Did you guys see that roof? They take these air conditioners and get rid of the quick cool vents. They make them more efficient. I'm going to try that. Yeah, I thought it was you. I thought it was you, Pat, but it was Opa and Oma. This style of air conditioner that interjects the air into the tracks that cools the RV off. Apparently, the way that the air is being diverted into those tracks is very, very inefficient. So there's a company that makes some sort of a big foam insert that allows you to pull off your cover and then remove something else. I mean, they did all the steps. Again, it was on Opa and Oma's Adventures or something. It's Opa and Oma. Just look for that. But when you take the cover off and then you take that other thing off, then I think you have to loosen the air conditioner. And then you insert this thing that they have, and then you only reinstall part of your shroud or something to that effect. It takes and makes it to where it just blasts air. Their airflow increases by like 30% out of all the vents compared to what it was prior to. And they said it's just more effective. So um, I would love to do that. Are both of you live streaming tonight? No, we're not going to live stream. This was all I was going to do is give you guys, you know how we have been doing those videos, you know, RVDaydream, what you doing? And we just, usually that happens over a few days. And I thought, you know what, instead of me shooting a video, let me just go live and talk about what we're doing. And that's how it all started, because I had to drop off the legs to be powder coated for the steps on the RV, the extended ones, which we'll talk about that later. You know, on a future video whenever we get them installed and we use them. Talking about the gravel for the driveway that would be nice to have so we could actually go RVing. And the cap, somebody asked me about the cap, wanted the update on the cap, which, like I said, it's going to be probably a total of, I'm assuming, a couple of months before we need to call and ask them, where's the cap? Oh, I forgot to get, I'm sorry, Hyde, I forgot to already. I'm going to have to, I've got to do a couple things. So I like this as an alternative to the usual, what you doing? Do this occasionally. Nice to hear from you in real time. That's cool. Yeah, it's a thought. It's easy. I don't have to edit it or anything. Hello from New Mexico. Howdy, New Mexico. I didn't want to mind either. That way I'm not sitting in the RV as much. But yeah, we got stuff posted on eBay. I sold my childhood Hot Wheels. I had Hot Wheels that when I was a kid, obviously, like everybody. The last Hot Wheel that I either bought or was given for Christmas or birthday or something, I was about 9 years old. So I had a box of like 36 cars, and like 20 some of them were Hot Wheels. The oldest one was from 1967, and the newest one was 1978, I think. Maybe, I know 77 for sure. I think there was one or two from 1978. And, you know, typical use. They weren't abused or anything. I had a few red lines. I wasn't a collector. I just liked playing with the cars. I had tracks, and, you know, we used to have races and stuff with them. And I think the last time I actually played with them was like in 1982. We had some tracks, and it was winter, and we had a snow day, and I set up all the tracks, and we were just having races with the different cars down the hallway. But that was the last time that I got them out. After that, they went into a box that had my track cleats in them from high school. Anyways, I put them on eBay the other day and just made it an auction. And that was kind of, yeah, there was some red lines. There was like 3 or 4 red lines in the collection, but they're in good shape. They're not real bad. The one that I liked, well, I had a lot of them that I liked, but one of them that I liked was the Hawk. I had the Hawk mobile. And of course, this is when Bixby, what's that guy's name? Bruce Bixby was the Hawk, you know, on the TV series. But it was a van, and if you looked in the back of it, it had a thing, the Hawk ripping out the seat and the gear shift, and looks like he was running at you. Anyways, I put them all on Craigslist or Amazon. Let's say it again, eBay, and just set it up as an auction, and it was just a 7-day auction. And I had no reserve. Anyways, I sold for $150, so somebody was happy to get them. I said they were in really good shape. I kind of miss it that, you know, I was going to, thing is I know there's stuff that I would have liked to have from my grandfather's, but honestly, I'd rather just had money. Some of the things I have of my grandfather's, I don't want to use because they were my grandfather's. I mean, I have a bunch of old tools in his old tool chest and that, and I'm glad to have it, but I don't want to use it. I don't want to touch it. And they're just kind of there. I just have them. Same with, I have his gold watch when he retired. Well, I don't want to wear that around. I mean, it's got an inscription on it and everything. I have a gold pin set that came with the gold watch when he retired. And again, I did, so I was thinking about those cars, those little Hot Wheels, and I thought we'd give them to our grandson. But if he's anything like me, or you know, it's catch-22. They'd be worth a ton of money by the time he's a teenager. or even at 10 years old, in 10 years time, they'd be even worth more money. But you don't want to necessarily play with those old Hot Wheels. I mean, there's so much more out there to do than Hot Wheels. And if he valued them, they would just sit, because he'd probably do the same thing as me. That's one of the things that I find strange about having heirlooms. Now that we're going to be downsizing and getting rid of a lot of that stuff, I feel strange about it, because I have heirlooms that I should pass on to my kids, but like our son right now, he's out traveling all the time. I can't give him all the stuff that my grandfather left for me. That's kind of guy stuff. My daughter, I can give her stuff, but a lot of the stuff, I don't even, what is she going to do with it? I mean, it's up to her, but I mean, at some point you kind of feel, yeah, kids don't want your stuff. You're right. But sometimes you feel odd about it, because you don't want to sell it, because it was entrusted to you, and it was an heirloom, something that your family owned before you. And there's certain attachment to that. But on the other hand, you can't use it, and it's just getting ruined and not appreciated, just sitting in a box. And it's hard to, I don't know. It's just difficult to figure that out. So I think we'll end up selling a lot of stuff that I'm not even going to bother giving to the kids, because it don't make any sense. It's like Heidi said, kids don't want our stuff. Yeah, it's tough decisions, but I mean, we have like a whole bunch of, like for my grandmother, my daughter will get a whole tote full of really nice milk glass. My grandmother used to collect milk glass, and it's all kinds of stuff. And of course, they're in really good shape. Now, my son, of course, I already gave him some tools, but he'll get a bunch of, I have all my grandfather's antique, or not antique, but machinist tools in his machinist box. I mean, you know how your toolbox may have, a sticker on it, or maybe a badge or a button or something like that, or some kind of giveaway they give at the auto parts store or something. And well, I mean, you open his machinist box, and he's got like I like Ike buttons and Kennedy stuff, and I mean, the machinist box is old, and he's got all this old stuff inside there. My grandfather was really, really smart. He was self-educated. He never went to college. I don't even know if he finished school, and he taught himself calculus. So there's a lot of little books and stuff where he's got calculations and things that he had written out and figured out. It just like that. What am I supposed to do with that? That's easy to pass along, but yeah, that's just like you said, tough decisions. What's that? Hatch chili. What is Hatch chili? I seen that. I can't believe how many. Well, yeah, I can't believe how many people are on here during the day. I mean, come on. Are we all at home just hanging out, except for Heidi? I know a couple of you said you're at work. I have an antique pistol my great grandfather had, and I don't know how to give it to. Yeah, well, it's funny you say that, because I have a. No, you didn't hijack channel. You're good. I have a 40s, mid 40s, early 40s Walther PPK that my grandfather brought back from Germany. He got off a German officer, and it has the holster and everything. And it's currently at the gunsmith, and he's doing a restoration cleaning on it because it was just getting a little bit bad. So we went out and shot it a couple of years ago. But I'm not going to give that to my son. He's going to be traveling around. He don't have his concealed carry, and that's not the gun to carry anyways. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can carry a Walther PPK. It's perfectly sized and everything, but you're not going to want to carry it around. I mean, that's an heirloom. And plus I have the form, the spoils of war that was signed by his company commander that released the property, to allow him to bring it back. Yeah, what do I do with that? I definitely don't want to. I don't want to sell it. That's not what it's for. I have an old 410 shotgun that used to hang over the door. They used to shoot. My grandfather used to shoot the squirrels out of his bird feeder, and the water moccasins out of the canal with that. That's all that gun ever shot. Was for the squirrels out of his bird. He hated squirrels. He hated them. Donate to a museum. Might be able to do that. That'd be kind of cool. I never thought about that. Oh, you're retired. Okay. I don't feel so bad now. Retired, you're correct. Kids don't even pass on to other family members. Kids don't want stuff. Yeah, it's funny. Our kids, there's a lot of stuff that they. Nope, no rhyme or reason. I like hearing him talk too. I told him a long time ago that he sounds like Drew Carey. Oh, Drew Carey. He's a character. Yeah, that's just one thing. I'm going to retire this year, maybe. How do you're not allowed to talk about that? That's a secret. Listening while working on stuff. I do that too. I've done that too. Congratulations, Heidi. I said maybe. Oh. Yeah, maybe we'll win the lottery that we don't ever play. We're pretty. I'll be honest with you. I mean, listen. I'm saying this just for your information, you guys. I'm saying this for my information, for your information. Somebody's outside. Let me see what it is. I think it's our Amazon delivery. Yep, Amazon's delivering. Heidi, your little pocket purse is being delivered. Your credit card purse or whatever is being delivered by Amazon. Anyways, I'm saying this, and I'm not. I don't think of it as a reason to. It's not that. It's hard to put it into words because I'm not saying it because I'm bragging, but really, there's no reason to think that it's a bragging point because it really isn't. Number one. Number two, I'm saying this just for your guys' information because I know a lot of you guys are following along YouTube to find out if, full-time lifestyle, what you can do, how you can do it, all that stuff. I got my tax form. Now, you guys know that we have, this channel. No desire to work. I have this channel here that we monetized for YouTube, and it's hit and miss. I also have my other channel, Fox Boss 9, that I've been doing for years. That one slowed down quite a bit because I've been doing this channel, so much more. That one is that one's been monetized for a long time. And then I have another channel that makes a little bit of money that's also monetized. It is so sporadic the way we get paid and how much money you make. And sometimes you make good money on one month, other times you don't. So it's so hit and miss. It's feast or famine. Now, I also do the Amazon affiliates. That one used to be a little bit more steady, but that's gotten even worse than the YouTube money. That Amazon affiliates, my pay range could be anywhere. It's just all over the board. So whenever we talk to you guys and we keep on reiterating the links in the description and stuff like that, we have to. That's the only way we know that at least traffic is going towards the direction that we're wanting. We know traffic is going in the direction that a purchase might happen. So that's why we're always referring to you know, check the links in the description and click the links, and because it helps us is an understatement. I mean, it really helps out a lot. And we've seen it. We've seen it firsthand. We've seen where if we've done a lot of product and it's during a busy time and we have a lot of reviews where a lot of people are watching and we see a lot of viewer content, you know, to where people are commenting and they're saying, hey, I'm going to go get that. And we have seen months that have gotten, you know, we've done really well. However, we've seen, do you know about fixing campers? Yeah. I got my generator from Amazon Link. Yes, I remember that, Pat. I only know that channels that frequently make trending videos are able to make the creator rich. Okay, so I'll go ahead and give you details. I mean, if you guys are wanting details, I can tell you details on this and tell you basically like this year, what happened. I mean, I got my tax form the other day, so we got to do our taxes. But nobody's going to get rich off of this. However, and the sad part is if you guys remember, I did a video not that long ago that Amazon froze my account. Steve, Dave, have a great day. Thanks for stopping in. Amazon froze my account. Where I wasn't going to get paid. Lunch is over. See you later, Jabberjaws. Who's Jabberjaws, honey? Were you talking that much? I didn't think you talked that much on here. So it's a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bitching. I love putting up videos. I do. The process can be tedious sometimes. No, that's you. Have fun. All right, Heidi. Love you. Go back to work now. Quit smoking. But it's tedious, and sometimes it draws you down, and I mean it's a lot of work, and you know you lose out, but it is work. I mean you gotta. I come from a good work ethic. I mean it's work. You've got to work. You can't just make this stuff happen out of the blue. You got to work at it. So here's the deal. On Amazon, depending on how much I don't even know what. Tell you, I'm not smart enough to know how it works as far as why we make a lot of money and why we don't, other than all of a sudden a bunch of people decided to buy stuff. And then other than that, a lot of people didn't. They decided not to buy stuff, or they decided not to shop Amazon, or they didn't want to use our link, or they forgot to use our link, or whatever. So we always push those links. Hey, use the link in the description. Use the link in the description. This month, I'll be getting paid from Amazon from 3 months ago, what I earned 3 months ago. And the pay gets really bad from like November to like May. And I think this month I might make $800 on Amazon for the month. Now, don't get me wrong, that pays for, you know, $800 would pay for a, what's that called? A campground for a month. I could stay at, you know, a lot of campgrounds for $800 for the whole month. So that would pay for the campground, you know, for us to stay somewhere. But as far as, you know, that's all it's going to offer. So to give you an idea, when we have a lot of people that are buying and ordering stuff using our links, I've gotten paid as much as $2,200 for the month. So that's a wide range. Think about that. 800 to 22, that's almost, you know, that's close to 3 times just because people decided to buy and use our link, or whatever reason our video became more popular and a lot more people used it, whatever. It just, so that's all why we're always talking about our Amazon links. Overall, I think that the dollar amount coming in from Amazon, I don't know what my yearly amount is. I didn't look to see what my pay was for the year. But I would assume that my pay for the year with Amazon, and I'm assuming. I hate that I'm assuming. Would probably be Uh, I think about $22,000 this year for Amazon. It's got to be. Like I said, some of our worst pay is like $700, $800, and that happens for like 4 months. But we've had a lot of months that are about 1,000 to 2,200. So yeah, and don't worry about your channel. It'll get easier. It'll get easier, and stuff just starts happening. It just once you get past certain numbers, it just seems like, wow, it took me forever to get to 1,000 subscribers. And look, just this short amount of time, 3 months later, I'm at 3,500 subscribers. But it took me a year and a half to get to 1,000, that kind of a thing. And it's the same when you get to 10,000. Like in our case, it seemed like that we got to 9,000. We got to 9,000 at a decent rate. But then once we got past 10,000, it went from 10 to like 13,000 right away, and then it just kind of drug along, and finally we're up to where we're at now. Like I said, it's no rhyme or reason really. I'm sure the algorithm with YouTube has something to do with it. So as far as our support on the road, as far as when we're working on the, when we're traveling on the road, and we can count on this money to some extent, but we don't want to. Yeah, being consistent. I agree. Consistency is the key. So now the Amazon or the YouTube part of it, with the advertising that's been coming across, again, it's all up and down. Some months we do really good, some months we don't. But this year we did 27,000 for YouTube. So between the two, we're almost $50,000 that we're doing between Amazon and YouTube, which is more than enough to, go out on the road, as long as we don't have a couple of those months that hit, bad, to where, if I get an $800 a month from Amazon, and then I get like a $900 a month from YouTube, $1,700 for the month. And if you've got bills, which we won't necessarily, I'm sure we'll have some, but very little. It's tough. It's really, really tough. I find that the media outlets have a ton of YouTube press that's changed a lot of things. Before 2010, no one put effort into the thumbnails. Yeah, you know what else I don't like? Howdy, Becky, Roy and Becky. Hey, what's up, RVDaydream? Travis, howdy. The one thing that I find is that the YouTube money is just, it's so sporadic and unreliable to some extent. I feel like it could just disappear at any time. And going into what you were saying about a lot of things changed on YouTube with the corporate and that and the profanity and all that. Yeah, when I first joined YouTube, I thought it was so cool that I could share something and it was seen. And it was done in a good, easy way. But like you said, I like doing, usually Amazon dropped me twice, so I don't do that anymore. Yeah, you got to watch that Amazon stuff. I like doing it, but I don't push it because full-time high school teacher for a ton of work. Yeah, see, there's the thing with Heidi. That's why she's not on a lot of videos. She's got a full-time job. Now, once she's off, though, I'm sure she's going to jump in there more. Just hit 500 yesterday. Good deal. Yeah, like I said, once it gets past, see, when I was on, you could be in, get Amazon advertising if you only had, 2 subscribers. It didn't make a difference. You could sign up for it. At least that's the way I was approached. I think I had more than that, obviously. I think I had 100 whenever they had sent me and back then they'd asked if you wanted to be a YouTube partner, and they would send it to you in your email. But that was in 2007. So it's kind of nice, but it's like sales. It's like sales. If you guys have never worked sales, then you would have to work sales. And I'm talking like used car sales, or have your own business. Like in our case, I had small engine sales. I would put out outdoor power equipment. There was days that I would be out there with a whole bunch of inventory and nobody buying. You know, it was past, just to give you a hint, an insider's hint. Um, After Father's Day, outdoor power equipment sales go down the tubes. And it's been like that forever. When I worked in shops that we worked on outdoor power equipment, after Father's Day, all of the stuff coming in to get worked on, hardly anything at all. So, yeah, Father's Day is kind of like the breaking point. What past Father's Day, that's it. There's not a lot going on, not a lot being sold, not a lot getting worked on. So here I would have outdoor power equipment that it's like, man, I need to push this. I need to get it out. And I would, you know, some of it I wouldn't even mark. There's times I've sold under what I had in it just so I could get rid of it, so I didn't have to store it through the winter, and I would have the ability to buy something that I could fix up for the considering winter or for the considering fall. Yeah, I considered other affiliate programs, but I haven't seen anything that I like so far. And don't get me wrong, there's plenty of them out there. Now Heidi isn't on here right now, but we'll let you in on a little secret between you and I. I've been, and she knows, it's not like it's a real secret. I've been pushing her to be involved more with like our website. I mean, I just paid $580 the other day to have our website for another 3 years. So I told her that she needs to get the Google AdSense link and put it on, you know, on the pages that are necessary so they can start advertising on our website. I have no problem. We get about 400 visitors to our website every month. We haven't updated it for 3 years. I have not updated that site at all. And yet we still have people go in and check, you know, what we have on there and stories that we have on there. I think 3 years. I might be wrong. I might have added something on there. But I told her she needs to be more involved with that and learn how the website can make us money, because it just costs me money. Every 3 years, it's $500 and then like another $20 or whatever, $6, $8 for the domain. And, you know, this is, you know, just keeps on going and going. And I don't want to work on it anymore. I put that site, I had somebody kind of build that site for me initially. And then I went in and changed a whole bunch of stuff for ourselves. But then after that, it's just too much work. Yeah, YouTube is tough on the new people. I mean, look at it this way. Whenever I signed up initially and did our RV channel, I think it was in 2014, and it actually we started it in early 2015. I'm pretty sure it was our first like live thing, or our first, you know, hey, here's us, that kind of deal. But I think I signed up for it in 2014, and I was working on it. When I came on in 2015, it was only like 2 months into putting up videos, and somebody commented on one of the channels back then and said, man, your plan of going, you know, your plan of being full-time in 10 years time, you know, 5 to 10 years time, you might as well not even put up a channel, because there's going to be a large influx of YouTube channels. And he was saying that back in 2015, which he was right. And I said, listen, I'm just going to post videos. And if the channel grows, it grows. If it don't, it don't. I can't read this. Sorry, guys. It's just my eyes have gotten worse. We have a couple of new affiliates programs. It's a little bit here and there. It helped. Yes, I agree. Don't forget the ribeye out. Oh, God, thanks. I forgot about that son of a bitch. Maybe I can have Heidi bring something home then. We're on our diet, but we've really slacked off because of Heidi, she had her colonoscopy and she had to eat weird, and of course I was eating weird, and then afterwards she had to eat something that was, you know, easy on her stomach, which of course that's not carb free necessarily, soups and stuff like that. So we went off our diet a little bit, and we've just kind of been holding at our current weights, which it's fine. I mean, I'm still 20 pounds lighter than I was on Thanksgiving. And Heidi, I don't know how much, she's lost a lot of weight too, since Thanksgiving, but we're still not where we need to be. We need to be a lot further along. But anyways, that 10-year thing, I see somebody said we have a 10-year timeline too. Which the 10-year thing, the time cut, it cut down quite a bit. we dropped like 3 years off of our plan right away because of things that happened really quick. We didn't expect to buy that other truck until we, so at that point, as soon as we got that truck, we knew that we could full time and travel that was a big thing, not having a vehicle to travel necessarily to get us around the entire country. So to go from that old F-150 to the F-250. Yeah, somebody kept on mentioning, sorry about that, getting off track here. Yeah, that Teespring thing, I started just putting in links because somebody commented and said, I didn't know you had merch. You need to start telling people that you have merchandise. Well, I hate repeating, over and over. So I thought, I'll make a link and just start posting it on the video. I need to add, here's my daughter for you. My daughter, she's pretty conniving. She's thrifty to some extent. I pay her for our art advertising, which I should, but I can't write it off because she don't claim it. It's cash under the table. But she does a good job with, our logos and all that stuff. She's designed all of the logos, everything that we've got, any artwork at all. She's designed it. So I told her, hey, I've got a whole bunch of ideas that I'd like to get on t-shirts. Of course, she's like, well, talk about it. So I thought that was kind of funny. I went blank and then came back live again. That was odd. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. That was weird. But yeah, so anyways, we need to put more ink on product, and we need to do it and just not promote us. I need to come up with some stuff that people are willing to wear regardless, because I feel weird about that. There's a lot of a lot of YouTube channels that I like. There's only a few I might wear something that has their name on it. I feel strange about that, but other people like that. Other people like to have your stuff so they can, support us, which is great, but also in case they run into somebody else that has, hey, I know who they are, we watch them, that kind of thing. But yeah, as far as my daughter, of course, she wants me to pay her for sitting down and having an art session, basically, so she can design up some new stuff the way I want it. But the website needs to make us money. If not, I don't see why I should have it. I don't. Yeah. And of course we have Patreon, which you've seen a couple of our patrons here. Red Jaguar and Merle. Merle's been a patron for a really long time. And then they started screwing over patrons. So I told him, I said, hey, you don't pay us anymore because they're taking that money out of your side of things, not my side of things. And he discontinued for just a short time. Then he joined up again as soon as they straightened it out. Yeah, we've had patrons over the years that we try to give them extra stuff, but it's not enough. I think we need to do more on the patron side of things for patrons to have exclusive content. All we do is let them in on secrets and stuff that we're doing ahead of time. Matter of fact, just 2 days ago, or was that yesterday, I posted something that was hinting towards something that we hinted towards on a video not that long ago, but we went into a little bit more detail about it. Yeah, it's nice that we can share that. Like, all our patrons knew when we bought our truck, before YouTube knew we bought our truck. All the patrons knew and got to see the walkthrough of our exact RV before we even showed our RV or showed that we had bought it. We said that we had already bought it at that point, but we went up to the dealer and we did a walkthrough video just for the patrons they got to see. Yeah, we try to add content just for them, but it's tough. It's really tough to know what people are willing to pay for and what they expect to see when they're patrons. Now, most of our patrons, for the most part, they like that extra content. I think they'd enjoy to have more extra content, which we're working on, just not very good at it. But some of them just like to support us. They just like what we're doing and they want to support us. and that's awesome. I mean, whatever their reason, I applaud them for it, and I'm very appreciative of it. And the thing is again, that's another source of revenue. So, in case, oh, I see why my phone did that. My phone's. I didn't realize the chat was going to go so long, and my phone's saying that you're running out of battery power. I don't think I have a USB cable out here for my phone. So, anyways, maybe we should cut this down. Cut it off here. So, we need different avenues of revenue just in case, because like I said, that Amazon, I had a bill coming up. See ya. Thanks, Northwoods. Appreciate it. Again, 500, good deal. Yeah, we won't stage videos, Pat. It's done. We can't. Yeah, it's only been 3 hours. You think the phone battery would last longer than that, huh? I love this phone. This is this is my everyday phone. This is my Note 10 Plus, and this is the forward-facing camera. Yeah, Patreon as an appreciation for the quality of your videos. Well, I don't think the quality's that good. Maybe the content's got some decent content on it, but man, I talk too long. I lose track half the time. My shooting skills aren't the best. My editing's not the best. It's not professional, but yeah, Merle, he's the man. Merle's been with us for a long time as a patron. Well, he's the longest patron we had. And then like I said, Herbie's right behind him on that. And you're not a young, inexperienced couple flubbing their way through life, mooching off their viewers. Well, some people feel like that. Yeah, I agree. I don't want to get on that tangent because I know that I have a whole bunch to say about that. And unfortunately, I don't have a lot of battery to help me support that. Appreciate it. Thanks. I love doing the videos. I really do. You got to figure you guys are the only friends I have in the area. I mean, I have other friends, but I don't travel necessarily to go see it. How can a person become a Patreon? I think it's in the link, in our link. Yeah, there should be a link in the description somewhere. I'm pretty sure there's something there. I don't know how it works. I've never become a patron for somebody else, even though maybe I should. But yeah, there's you just set up and they automatically take a payment, and I get a percentage of that. And then, like I said, you get to see other content. There's a bunch of goofy content in there. Some of the small channels put less effort into their videos anyways. Well, I think that it might have to do, when we talk about the younger people, I think that has a lot to do with, do you like making the videos? Like watching? Yeah, I like making the videos. I love it. Sometimes the editing, like I say, can be tedious. But the thing is that I find that a lot of the people that are younger people that are doing, hey, I got millennials for kids. Oh yeah. The audio is usually, although this audio sucks, it's not horrible, but it sucks compared to what it could be. I appreciate that, Merle. I really do. I think a lot of it to do with, I have millennials for kids. I think the problem for millennials that I can sum it up, and if anybody's millennials on here, I'm sorry if I offend you. Because not everybody. Just like I can't go to my dad and say, okay, boomer. I mean, he's not a typical boomer. I'm a Gen X, and for the most part, I don't necessarily fit into all the Gen X stereotypes. But as far as millennials, I sum it up to the video game. And I was just talking about this with Heidi last night, and I said, it's kind of funny. Two things. My son was playing these video games when he was very young. And he's like, this is just like real life and stuff. I said, no, it's not. I said, you're just running through shooting people. You're not trying to hide. You're not trying to form a plan. You're not even looking at the map that shows where you're at and where these people are that are trying to attack you. I said, you're just running through shooting at stuff. He goes, well, no, it's like real, though. You can't necessarily always plan and blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah, you're right. It's just like real life. How many times have you been killed today? How many times do you think you're going to get killed in real life? I said, one life. You need to be focused to where you protect it as much as possible. I said, even then, you're going to end up getting killed. I said, even when we play video games, you got 3 lives on Pac-Man, but then the game was over, and then you had to start all over again. I said, your game, you just keep on reliving. You just form up another life and keep on going. And I think a lot of that had to form the way that he thinks of, hey, I just can run into any situation willy-nilly without a plan, and it should just all work out. And if it don't, well, they'll reset me and I'll just get to go try it again. And there's no consequence to it. There's no consequence to the action of playing the game. Now, that's on one aspect of the game. Now, staying with that whole game thing, number two, I remember my dad come through when I played video games, and I spent a shitload of money at the arcade with a lot of coinage and a lot of time. And my dad said, why are you wasting your life up at that arcade? That's not going to get you anywhere in life at all. So guess what? I taught my son the same thing. Well, boy, was I wrong, because this whole group of people, when they play their video games and they get so good at them, what do? Hey, we should make up a contest and get sponsors to pay us to play our video games, and we get paid millions of dollars for people to watch us play our video game. Yeah, that's what we should do, because I've been doing this for the last 15 years and I'm the best game player ever. I should get paid for this. And guess what? All of a sudden, you got a platform that is nothing but gamers, watching gamers, paying gamers for the right to watch. How crazy is that? And again, on top of that, my other thing that I compare it to is like snowboarding. Well, hell, I remember when I was a kid, we would screw around and do stupid stuff. For example, I remember we were real big into jumping the trees. We had a tree line in between our houses. We would jump the trees, and then we would run so far, and we would climb through. We would do the jungle gym real fast, and there was something else that we did. It was like this little obstacle course, right? Well, we played around with it, and we would see who was the fastest in the neighborhood and that. But again, why you guys kids out there fooling around? You know, I had a paper route. I had to go do my job. That wasn't going to pay me. Oh no, fast forward. Guess what? Now we have parkour, and people get paid for parkour. Parkour is a thing. I don't even know where the word, it sounds like the word was made up. I know it's from another country, but still, it's just crazy that the most of the millennials wanted to do something, so they made a job out of it somehow. Now, kudos to them that they made a job out of it, but is it really productive? Is it really doing anything? I mean, we were born behind the curve. It just seems strange. I mean, here's the funny part. Even in my era, if you know, which I talk like an old guy now, which I'm not that old, but even whenever I was growing up, I focused on things that were available to me because it was structured and basically laid out in front of you. And Sonny, this is what you have available. Make your choice. You know, so I could go work in the factory. I could start a mowing business. I could join the army, and stuff like that. There was only so many choices. Well, hell, I was in school. I had good grades. I bowled all my life. I think I've mentioned this before. Some of you guys may not have heard this. And I wanted to get a scholarship to a college to bowl. Holy shit, it's like I was asking to I asked my counselor, my high school counselor about that, and they're like, oh, I don't even know. They never heard nothing like that. And they didn't even know where to turn to. And they didn't even know how that should happen and if it could happen. And they never heard of it in the school system that they operated in. And so I was floating around at these college seminar things, whatever they're, telling them, hey, I'm trying to get a bowling scholarship. And they nothing. Oh, no, can't. Your grades are good, but they got to be up here, and you need to have, so much of this and that, and know somebody and be recommended by this. None of that crap. And I mean, fast forward, after I got back out of the service, I even got my pro card. I was a non-touring pro. So I'd go to all the pro events around here. And even then, it wasn't like anything was laid out in front of you real easy to become a pro bowler. Now, shit, it's not only that, but they made pro bowling so easy, or they made the sport of bowling so easy. To become a pro is really nothing but equipment and time. So yeah, before the internet, that's exactly right. So now, like I said, all these situations have come around to where the millennials are doing that with YouTube. To get back to the subject at hand, they're joining YouTube and they're like, I'm going to start a channel and I'm going to show how to put on my makeup and everybody's going to love me because I'm pretty, and I'm going to do thumbnails that are clickbait, and I'm going to show cleavage, and I'm going to get tons of viewers in no time at all. And guess what? How can you fault them? Because the formula works. I just don't have it in me to do that kind of stuff. You see me, I'll cringe sometimes when I put up a title that might be a little bit on the clickbait side. You guys have seen all my videos, and some of the stuff that I put on there, there's a little clickbait sometimes. And the sad part is because I'm trying to stand out as a whisperer in a bunch of screamers. And it's really hard to do. Me in a bikini, holy shit. That would be funny. If I lost some weight, maybe. And it's sad because I look back when when I was younger, not so much me, but I told Heidi, I said, holy cow, do you realize if I know everything I know now, and we had this platform of YouTube, and, back, hey, Mike and makeup, I would make an ugly drag queen. Ugly, way ugly. I told Heidi, I said, can you imagine when we first got married, got together, when we first started dating? I said, if I would put a channel and just have you run around in a bikini. Listen, guys, this is no joke. Heidi, she's just kind of a backwoods girl to some extent. And she didn't care because she was like, it's hot out. And she loved push mowing the lawn because it was exercise. And she would go down when we lived at the lake down here, and she'd push mow the lawn in a bikini, a 2-piece string bikini. She'd mow the whole lawn. That's what she did every day. She'd have some tennis shoes on, and she'd freaking push mow the lawn. I told her, I said, my God, I have a whole YouTube channel just mounting the freaking GoPro on the mower handle, and you push mowing the lawn in your bikini. I said, we'd have it made. I said, and don't get me wrong, she was always dressed relatively conservative, but I mean, she wore sexy clothes. She wore clothing that was appropriate for that day and age. So I told her, I said, man, it's too bad that it didn't happen back then. It seems bizarre before the strict monetization rules came out, how many young and single women made sexual content. Oh yeah. Yeah, I agree 100%. That's the truth. That's the absolute truth. Again, there's times if you go back through our videos, you can look, and some of them I've put clickbait titles on to some extent, and I hated it. I really hated it. I'd more rather have you guys click a video that's unassuming, and you see something and go, oh my God, I didn't expect that. Like for example, when we bought the truck, well, either truck, our old F-250 or this F-250, or when we bought the RV even. You guys kind of knew what was happening there, but the truck, we kind of, that was kind of like a last minute thing as far as what you guys seen, but we've been thinking about it for some time doing that. So it's tough. Like I said, it's hard to be somebody who's a whisperer trying to get a message across on any level, whatever it is, something stupid like this or something more important. When you have you're posting it in a room full of people that are screaming, with loud clothes on, and have all kinds of short, quick, fast musical montage, fast cut, mini scenes. I mean, you can watch it. Honesty is the bomb. Yeah, I agree. But some of these people that are doing their YouTube channels they'd rather have clickbait, and some of them, if they get a drama situation, boy, they play that up a lot. Now, don't get me wrong, I've done it. My window exploded. I think that was one of the things that I put. My window did explode. I mean, it sucked, and the picture showed it sucked on that cap. But man, some of them, I don't know. All right, I got a low battery thing. I can't believe this. We're done. I'm gonna have to shut this off because my phone is saying no more. And I don't have anything out here to plug in, so I can't talk with you guys any longer. I appreciate everybody that's joined on with me today. Your window was real. Yeah, it was real. Yeah, it wasn't fictitious. You're right. But everybody that's joined in and talked, bye. Have a good one. Everyone that's joined in, I really appreciate it. Maybe we'll do more live chats. I have a tendency to do them really long, so that's appealing and not. And like I don't even know if I should be able to post this online for YouTube to stay on YouTube, because the content's going to be old relatively soon. I got to get this slide in. I got to get myself in. I got to get something to eat. And that's right, I got to put out the ribeye, or I'm not going to get something to eat today. As always, guys, we hope to see you out there. Bye.